Holder.
The hour of 1:30 having arrived, the Santa Cruz City Council will come to order. Madam Clerk, would you be kind enough to call the roll?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Triguero.
Present.
Bruner.
Present.
Newsom.
Present.
Holder.
Here.
O'Hara. Here. Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Present.
Mayor Keeley.
Present. Thank you. Quorum having been established, any statements of disqualification on our closed session? Seeing and hearing none. Public comment on closed session. Our closed session today will consist of items 1, 2, and 3, a conference with legal counsel regarding claims against the city, real property negotiations, and a conference with our legal counsel on anticipated litigation. Anyone with us today? Ross, don't wish to testify on this item? All right, is there anyone with us online who may want to provide comment?
No.
With no one online. What we will do is we will adjourn into closed session. We will take up such closed session items that I've already announced. We will come back into session no earlier than 2 o'clock. If we finish early, we will still adjourn at 2 o'clock. It could be that we're in closed session a bit longer, so we will either resume immediately upon closed session or 2 o'clock. With that, we will adjourn to closed session. The hour of 2 o'clock having arrived and the Santa Cruz City Council having completed its business in closed session, we are back again in regular session. Would the clerk be kind enough to call the roll and establish a quorum?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmembers Triguero.
Present.
Bruner.
Present.
Newsom.
Present.
Holder. Here. O'Hara. Here. Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Present.
Mayor Keeley.
Present. Quorum having been established, we'll take up oral communication. This would be the opportunity for anyone who is with us here or in online to make a comment on any item under our jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. Anyone wish to do so who's in council chambers today? Do we have anyone online?
We do.
Good. We'll take the first person online. Person online, good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, hi, this is Garrett. Hey, I'm still trying to wrap my head about last meeting's item on the budget where it seemed like $52 billion or $1 million, behind the planned budget, and I still don't get it. But anyway, like for instance, on there it said that you were transferring $1 million from the general fund to the sugar beverage tax fund. And, I kind of doubt you've actually collected $1 million in taxes so far. I haven't heard any resolution about the lawsuit challenge that could invalidate it and require you to give the tax money back. And given that, and maybe this big deficit that I don't understand, should you really be doing that at this time, spending money before you actually have it? Anyway, another general comment is one I've made before, that when you're copying or getting ideas from what cities do, you should really be looking at cities that are objectively both highly ranked in government efficiency and fiscal discipline, as well as objectively ranked by empirical evidence as top-ranked places to live, such as Huntington Beach, and not leftist hellholes like San Francisco or Alameda cities like Oakland, which are continuously ranked as the absolute worst big cities in America. And Santa Cruz has some catching up to do. I know it's not ranked exactly, but I don't think it measures up to Huntington Beach. I would mention, they have some of the lowest cost utilities and low city expenses per capita, and I don't know, they're just worth a look at as far as anything. I'd say, honest suggestion. I can't find any written council policies on their website, but I would say that having watched a few of their meetings, their speaking times for the public are always 3 minutes. They also respect private property. Like the word heritage tree doesn't even appear in their Muni code. Only public and private trees. They don't regulate private property trees that way. They don't have to ask permission or pay the government to dispose of their own private property, like a tree on private property. They even passed a voter ID law for community elections. It was kind of held up, but we'll see, and so forth. So give them a look. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else with us in chambers wish to make a comment under oral communication? Is it? Yeah, yes, please. Yeah, this would be the opportunity to comment on any item on under our jurisdiction, but not on our agenda today for a period of time.
Yeah, sure. 2-minute diatribe, right?
Yeah, come on up. It's okay, take time. Do we have someone online? While you're getting ready there, sir, we're going to take next person online, then we'll be right with you. Person online, good afternoon and welcome.
Hello, Fred. Bradley Snyder. Hey, council, everybody. Beautiful spring day, I'm sure. Political slogans seem like a thing right now. We're a little numb to it, but they're complex policies framed as moral binaries. The more you normalize them, accept them, the farther you are from true, sincere debate and independent, intelligent, centrist thought. In the media age, slogans are carried more effectively by chyrons and meme captions, headlinees, mass printings. At the advent of the age of mass media, Ivy Lee, and Edward Louis Bernays defined the interests of the organization with technical precision, with classic rigorous scientificalism. They define public relations as a management function which tabulates public attitudes, defines the policies, procedures, and interests of an organization, followed by executing a program of action to earn public understanding and acceptance. Doesn't say anything about the utmost need for the public discourse to be exempt from blind allegiance to any given organization. I saw a summary online of ways partisan politics can be reduced to a slogan. You can imagine that Make America Great Again came up and defund the police. Lots of 3-4 chants, lock her up, build the wall. Santa Cruz, we were subjected in 2008 to Bookshop Santa Cruz's Keep Santa Cruz Weird campaign. I researched the sloganized nature of that lumpy statement, and it dated back to trash can signs in England that said, keep England tidy. So in summary, people prefer cognitive shortcuts, and they like being given them like children like being given toys. It's us versus them. It's there for open borders or waging a war on science, or they're anti-woman, or they're groomers. Short, emotionally charged labels separating people as opposed to uniting them. The fiscal politics aside, good luck keeping Santa Cruz weird again. It could happen.
Well, thank you very much. Sir, good afternoon. This would be your opportunity.
My name is John Golder. I happen to know one of the council members. And I'm going to speak about something that I think is rather shameful. San Lorenzo Riverside Park, this is what I call it, for the first time in 50 years is going to be redesigned. The folks in charge of that refuse to improve the egress to the river. The egress to the river is very carefully protected, very thoroughly protected by Article 10, Section 4 of the California Constitution. I'll read it. If you need to, it's only a couple of sentences, but it's very clear, and it was even done in the Admission Act in 1850. Egress to navigable waters. It's a very easy thing to do that at San Lorenzo Riverside Park. It's the only appropriate place really to do it. I've been up and down that river from the Mile Buoy all the way up to Glen Arbor Road in boats and swimming sometimes. So I talked to and Noah Downing, the parks planner, said that we are not going to do it. Well, the firm that's doing the designs has state licensed architects and engineers. They need to follow the state law. If they won't follow the state constitution, what the hell else are they not going to follow? And you know what I was told by Noah Downing? We were told that firm not to talk to the public. I said, why, Noah? Oh, well, they charge us money. Well, I'll give them a 5-minute call, and I'll pitch in if I have to talk to them, if that's the way it's supposed to work, but it doesn't work that way. So I guarantee, Fred, Mr. Keeley, Mayor, that there will be litigation if they don't do anything, and they need to take that ordinance and dump it. In '84, that was done because the levy was too steep for emergency vehicles. They changed that in '94 when they redid the levy. All right, and that's all from Joe Hall, who's the head planner for all that stuff that happened with the Army Corps of Engineers. I am done. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. Anyone else online? We'll take the next person online. Good afternoon. Welcome to the City Council meeting. Person online, good afternoon. 3, 2, 1. Do we have anybody else online? Okay. Anybody else with us in chambers wish to comment on, excuse me?
One more person
Just raise their hand. Fair enough. Person online, good afternoon. Welcome to the council meeting.
Hi there. Thank you for letting me speak. I raised my hand slowly. My name is Athena Flannery. I run a mutual aid group here in Santa Cruz City, and I love Santa Cruz City. And I just wanted to talk about the fact that sweeps are still going on every single day, every single week. Sweeps is the really sugar-coated word for the fact that this city pays our police and our public works team to destroy people's property and break the law. It is illegal to destroy people's property that is qualifying properties such as people's IDs, people's working bikes, working canes, working other mobility devices, people's backpacks, people's laptops. All of this is illegal for cops to take and destroy without any sort of 72-hour hold or 72-hour warning. And yet it happens every single week in this county and every single week in this city. And I really just wanted to bring up the issue that we are cruising for a lawsuit for the ADA. I read over the city code, and it says that folks who are disabled are supposed to get another 24 to 72 hours notice more than the original 24 or 72-hour notice. And yet my close friends who are in wheelchairs, who are disabled, are not getting extra time to move their items. They are not getting extra time or extra warning. That is a complete violation of the ADA, Americans Disability Act. And I see it happening every single week on Coral Street. I see people who are disabled having their stuff thrown away, their stuff destroyed. And I'd just like to raise awareness once again that this is an issue that's happening every single week. And we bring it to the city council very often. It seems as if the only thing that is going to change anybody's mind is litigation. And I don't want to go down that path. I'd rather we just treated people with disabilities fairly. And since we're not doing that, I think us with disabilities, we need to rise up.
Thank you very much for your testimony this afternoon. Anyone else online? We'll take the next person online. Good afternoon. Welcome to the City Council meeting.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. Oh, excellent. I'm Robert with Homeless United for Friendship and Freedom, and the city is funding Housing Matters, which provides sustainable housing to damn few, considering that it's the kind of grants it's getting. My question is, when will this sort of mega nonprofit be held accountable? I mean, it's cutting off services, I understand, as March comes upon us, essential services for the health and safety of not just the homeless, but the community, like restroom access, mail service, showers, electrical inputs. It's going to impact the entire community, not just those outside. So it's also Housing Matters. I call it Funding Matters because that seems to be what they're up to here. They've been supporting regular destruction of survival encampments on Coral Street every week, or sometimes more frequently than once a week. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, which have gone into this encampment resolution fund, are not being used to put folks in housing who are on Coral Street, but to drive them away, destroy their survival encampments, and so forth. So city authorities, we know, the city council for one, has long showed hostility to DIY services by the neglect or else neglected them, such as MH Can. And then we have here the 1,000+ people outside who are homeless, who face, of course, the increasing restrictions, whether it's Heelys, get off the median, fence in the areas in Santa Cruz, or other such items that actually make the city less welcoming and inviting for all of us, not just for those who are outside. There's no winter walk-in shelter. There's been no emergency rain cold shelter to speak of, other than for a very few nights when people were freezing in the rain and they couldn't do anything during the day at all. And only if they were lucky enough to get into the Veterans Hall on the 2 nights it was open during these most recent storms. Community has got to take this task on itself. It's obvious. So for anyone listening, got to get busy. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Anyone else online? Okay. We are finished with oral communication. I have the great privilege of being able to present a mayoral proclamation today, declaring this day as Government Communicators Day. And let me just make a couple of comments about that before we get into this resolution that will be, or proclamation that will be presented. And come on up, all of you government communicators. And I've been at this for a minute, this government business and whatnot. Something that's very, very clear to me is that whether it's county government, city government, state government, as those of us who are representatives of the people to the government, it is really difficult to take all of the complexities of any of those levels of government and communicate the core messages clearly to the voters and the residents of our city or county or state, as it turns out. And the people who choose to do that professionally are a godsend to us. They help us think these things through. They don't oversimplify it. They help us clarify it. They help us understand what are the major message points here that we want to focus on, so that what we are doing in this compound complex enterprise is not dumbed down. It's accurately conveyed to those who are paying for all of this that we do. And starting with Erica Smart and all of her individual team members, whether it has been during disasters. And Captain, we thank you very much for your great work standing up at the critical moment when our wharf fell apart. Each one of you has got a story like that. We could thank each one of you for a moment where you stood and delivered for us, in addition to your daily job, which is putting this information out so clearly and so helpfully so that the folks in this community can understand what their government is doing. So I want to thank you. And before I read this or some portion of it, I'm going to give colleagues an opportunity to recognize you folks, because you are folks we work with every day, and we love you dearly. Madam Vice Mayor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your work. I know I hit most of you up fairly regularly with some wild ideas and maybe some out-of-the-box ideas, and you're always there to support me and support the city. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilmember O'Hara.
Thank you. I share the appreciation as well. I think, as the mayor pointed out, each and every one of you has stepped up to the plate in periods of crisis, in periods where there's stability. Joyce, I can think about the level of work that you did in PD when you were situated at PD, very complicated work. And what I would say is that, in echoing both my colleagues' comments, when we're working well, people actually don't necessarily have to pay a lot of attention to what's going on at the city, right? It's like when those issues rise up that you have to be on your toes. But in reality, we need to be talking about the good work we're doing all the time, because we're asking a lot of the community to support the work that the city is doing. So I appreciate you always striking that balance, and then also just being available when we need you. It's just, your call to service is just as critical as any of the officers on the street that are first responders, right? You're there right alongside with them. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Golder.
Thank you. I echo my colleagues' sentiments, and I'll just say I think that the community appreciates what you put out there. If we don't spread information, people get disinformation or information from next door that's not always accurate. So thank you for your good work.
Thank you. Councilmember Triguero. Councilmember Brunner.
A brief thank you very much. This team, since I've started City Council in 2020, this team has grown and formed, and it's been such a vital part of our city team, where it's so important to get information out to the public, out to the council members, and to really work across departments. Each of you really keeps everybody informed. I love that there's a Government Communicators Day. It's hard work, and I'm just thank you, each one of you, for all that you contribute and do to communicate the work of the city to the people, to us. Thank you.
Councilmember.
Thank you. Just want to echo the appreciation that's being expressed and deeply thank you for the phenomenal work you do. Thank you.
Very quickly. So there's a number of whereases, and here's what they do. They talk about how the team was established in 2024 to provide, in effect, a small end of the funnel. So we are speaking with a coherent voice. And what that has done is it has informed, educated, and encouraged the community to really pay attention to that. So because it is a trusted source, it's good information. During emergencies, natural disasters, times of crisis, providing timely, accurate, life-saving, as it turns out, information. And the government communicators strengthen our community relationships by raising awareness, encouraging civic engagement, and ensuring access to our folks' government. So we take today, and we are declaring today as a Government Communicators Day in the city of Santa Cruz, and everybody in the city is encouraged, including all the residents, to join with us and observe and express our appreciation to our city communications team. God love you. We thank you so very, very much.
I don't have a lot to add. Erica Smart, Communications Manager. Thank you all. I think you said most of it, but I just want to introduce our communications team. We have Susie Oki, Ashley Hussey, Joyce Blaschke, and Katie Lee with us here today. And I want to join you in thanking them for all of their incredible work. Our team has been together for a really short amount of time, but we have done a lot. And we're going to do more. We're going to keep going. We've launched a brand new city website. We have a citywide newsletter, but this team is behind the scenes on all the main work that's happening across the city, working with every department, division, and team. And I think I can speak for the whole team when I say we're really proud of all the work that we get to do and the story that we get to tell, and really being that city voice, because our team is amazing. I think you all will join us also in acknowledging that I think our whole citywide team is government communicators, right? So we're celebrating our work as the comms team, but really this is a broader recognition of the great work that's happening. So thank you for that support and recognition today. Thank you, team.
Thank you. Best wishes to you all. We are under presiding officer announcements, and I'm going to stretch the concept a little bit today. We are heading into, or we are in the last week of February, and of course February is Black History Month, and our community celebrates that in a wide variety of ways. We, those of you who have been around this month and any February in this city, and you know that there are events all over the place. There are Black Film Festival that my buddy Taj Leahy, he works on. There are just events all over the place in the city and the county, but in the city of Santa Cruz in particular. And we wanted to, as a council, take a moment as we get to the end of the month and acknowledge what a celebratory month it has been. I spoke with my colleague a little earlier, and my colleague Sonia Bruner would like to make some comments. We all may wish to, but I'd like to acknowledge Councilmember Bruner to start with. Councilmember?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the moment to just kind of acknowledge and reflect and celebrate this month for Black History Month. I think around the county and in the city of Santa Cruz, we acknowledge and really acknowledge the achievements and the resilience of the Black communities and reflect on the continued struggle for racial justice. And like you said, there's really wonderful ways the community celebrates, and I'm always hearing about all the ways, including our kickoff kind of to Black History Month, the NAACP, March for the Dream, UCSC has their annual convocation at our civic auditorium. Our if some of you don't know, our youth are leading a now county-wide Black student union and really kind of deepening cultural awareness. I know our Santa Cruz County Office of Education is very actively involved in doing racial and social justice initiatives. And there's the Black History Month film series, there's Black History trivia at Abbott Square, Wednesday nights. The Museum of Art and History has been a forefront, open archives, and working with a Black-led citizen group on the London Nelson Culture Initiative, and really researching stories in Santa Cruz, in the city, of Black pioneers, and our just overall small ways to connect community. And I encourage everyone to visit our Santa Cruz public libraries, because they also host and highlight an array of activities and programs for Black History Month. And so we're in the last week. I just wanted to say how proud I am of being a Black person in Santa Cruz and just being in community with all of the awareness and activities and programming and the work to keep moving forward. The last update of our Black population in the county was 1.8% are African American, identify as Black, which isn't very much. But here at the city, in July every year, we raise the Pan-African flag with the Black Lives Matter mural. And I just encourage everyone to celebrate with us and learn more. And I appreciate the time to just reflect and acknowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. I'd open the floor to any other member who would like to make any comments at this point. I thank you, Councilmember, for that, and thank you to the community. I'll make one reflection. I think it would not be appropriate if we let this go without acknowledging the Reverend Jesse Jackson for a moment. I think we all, or many of us, I'm old, so I can remember Jesse Jackson pretty well. I will share one personal moment. I was staffing Governor Bruce Babbitt of Arizona. I was staffing him at the 1988 Democratic Convention in Atlanta. And the Reverend Jesse Jackson had run a campaign for president in 1984 and then ran again in 1988, ran a campaign. And the 1988 campaign, he did even better than he did in 1984. And so going into the convention, the question among the punditry and the media was, what does Jesse want? What does Jesse want? Does he want to be vice president? What does Jesse want? You know, there were headlines all the time. What does Jesse want? Well, I think Jesse wanted to be president. I think that's what Jesse wanted. But it was, I was staffing Governor Babbitt, and he was asked by NBC News on the floor of the convention. They said, Governor Babbitt, what do you think Jesse Jackson wants? And Governor Babbitt looked rather perplexed, and he goes, I don't think it's that hard to figure out. Jesse Jackson says he wants peace, justice, and progress. That's what Jesse Jackson wants. It's not that complicated. And so rather than the sort of inside the politics, does Jesse want to be the vice president? Does Jesse want this? Does Jesse want that? I thought Babbitt did it really well. He wants peace, justice, and progress. And and then when Reverend Jackson gave his speech at the Atlanta Convention, hell yes, he wanted peace, justice, and progress, and it was wonderful. So I wanted to just acknowledge the Reverend Jackson, what an important figure he has been in our country and in the unending struggle, sadly, that it is unending for peace, justice, and progress. So anyway, thank you all very much. We are on statements of disqualification. Anybody wish to make a statement of disqualification on any of the matters before us as we move along? Very good. Additions or deletions to the agenda, Madam Clerk?
I have none, no.
Madam City Attorney?
No.
Okay. City Attorney, report on closed session.
Yes, good afternoon. The council met in closed session in the courtyard conference room and discussed liability claims as indicated on your agenda. Those are the claims of Alan Mack, James Morrissey, Angelo, Jason Murizi Kaplan, Michael Benjamin Reuter, David Turner, and Michael Duchel. And those claims are on item 15 of your consent agenda today. The council also met with its city negotiator and discussed real property negotiations concerning 37 Municipal Wharf. And the council also met with its legal counsel to discuss one item of significant exposure to litigation. And that concludes my report.
Very good. Thank you so much. Council meeting calendar, Madam Clerk, anything you would like to draw to our attention?
No changes, no.
Very good. Thank you. We are on the consent agenda. For those who might not be familiar with it, we will be taking up items 6 through 19 inclusive on one motion. Before we get to that part, though, I'm going to give every council member the opportunity to pull an item, comment on an item, or ask a question. I will give you the same courtesy, and then we will proceed with the consent agenda. Before I begin this at all, well, we are beginning it, let me ask if there's anyone with us in chambers who wishes to comment on item 8. I'm going to need you to raise your hand. Okay, a couple of folks there. 13? Okay, I'm going to let you know right now, I'm going to pull those items and we will take them immediately after the consent agenda, 8 and 13. All right, I will start to my left, Madam Vice Mayor, on the consent agenda. Councilmember O'Hara.
Yes, thank you. I have a couple comments. I would also like to pull item 16. That's
16?
Yes, please.
Very good.
I am not going to comment on 8 and 13, even though I had planned on commenting holistically on 8, 10, 11, and 13, which all are associated with my district. So I will continue to kind of have that comment holistically. I just wanted to mention that, and it sounds like we're going to take up 8, 13, and 13 separately, that it's not often that District 5 has so many items. It's almost never. And it's because of a couple things. One, a lot of stuff going on Coral Street, and we'll talk more about day services. We'll talk more about the Navigation Center after we get through this consent calendar. The two other items, that is 11 and 10 and 11, and one correction for the clerk, item 10 is actually in District 5, not District 3, represent a significant level of housing that is potentially going in District 5, affordable housing. And I just wanted to share that as we think about these consent agenda items, they kind of come in and out of our periphery when we come to council. Most of the time, they represent significant change in the community. And I wanted to just mention how important it is for us to kind of focus in on those items. I also wanted to provide a little bit of feedback on item 19. This is the Customer Assistance Program. In my other career as a water engineer, I work for a national nonprofit that supports cities, jurisdictions, water and wastewater agencies across the U.S. on issues that are very pressing for water and wastewater utilities. This question of how to provide affordable service while bringing in enough revenue to run your utility is the number one question, honestly, that water and wastewater utilities are facing right now. And I can clearly say that this customer assistance program is on the leading edge nationally with the work that we are doing to provide affordable service to those that can't afford to pay. And then this transition into multifamily, I think we're one of maybe 6 across the nation that is doing this. So my kudos to the water departments. Obviously, you guys are close to my heart. I used to work for the water department. So, you know, it comes with a deep recognition of the level of effort that's being put into this, but that also you will be studied over the years about how you tackled this issue. So thank you very much for that work.
Councilmember Golder.
I do have some comments on the items that have been pulled, so I'll reserve those. But I will say, as we're looking at building the more dense, affordable housing units, I just want us to be mindful of the impact on the emergency services. And I think having maybe a smaller, considering to the future, like a smaller emergency response vehicle that can go from the fire department, respond to those buildings and not have to take the big truck. We might be like considering that when we're thinking about these projects holistically, when there's calls to service that are medical in nature.
Thank you. Councilmember Triguero on the consent agenda.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Brunner. Okay. Okay. This would be the opportunity for anyone who is with us to make a comment on the consent agenda or ask that we pull an item or to ask a question on an item. Anyone with us on the consent agenda, with the exception of those we've already moved, right? We will be taking up 8 and 13 separately. Excuse me? And 16. Anyone online? We'll take person online on the consent agenda.
Okay, I'd like to speak to consent agenda. I guess it's time for that. As to item 19, this is Garrett. Hey, once again, I believe citizens could benefit from looking at Huntington Beach when making these kinds of policies. As to this matter, they do have a program to give utility tax waivers to qualifying low-income seniors over 62 with the HUD income guidelines for very low-income category. They require proof of this low income by age, tax return, whatever. And as far as I can tell, nothing else qualifies. And the difference is in this way, they don't discount the service, entire service bill, and proof is required every year. It's a utility tax waiver only. Everyone has to pay for the utility service they use. It is a tax discount. Again, the money source of the discount in my mind then is the government piggy bank using their money from taxes, and they're not lumping this discount or your proposed discount into payments which ultimately other muni users are going to have to pay for, which is a very bad socialist idea, which is your current and proposed idea when rates are adjusted to balance the utility budget in the future. Okay, as to multifamily, it is complicated, right? It sure seems like the water, trash, whatever might all be lumped into rent. Difficult to say who uses what exactly. As to our taxes, just a comment, I wonder where the heck you got 12% from, wowee, and no wonder utilities are your third highest income source. Muni utilities are a monopoly, and I would say everyone should be aware if and when that monopoly leverage is abused, like 12%. And this item, I don't really know where your discount comes from exactly. I'm assuming much here, but I assume it comes from the total bill. Huntington Beach isn't running a welfare service with utilities. Yeah, they give low-income seniors a waiver if they qualify, not on a tax waiver, not on the total bill, but that Huntington Beach does credit. When you sign up for service, they do credit checks or look at usage payment histories. And if the person applying doesn't measure up, they require a deposit, and that would reason in the first place. Being one of 6 in the nation means maybe it's a bad idea. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Do we have anyone else online? We'll take next person online. I'm willing to take anybody who's with us in chambers if you're on the consent agenda, except for 8, 13, and 16. Nobody? Okay. Next person online.
Members of the community, as Councilmember O'Hara has suggested, and I rarely agree with her on most issues, this is Robert Norris of HUP, Homeless United for Friendship and Freedom. focus on consent agenda items is essential, why not then restore the right of the public to not simply request, but as has been the case historically, to empower the members of the community, not just the council and not just the mayor, to remove items for individual comment, community input, staff report, and individual vote. Why not? Well, because it would give the community more power. And it tends to seem that the Keeley regime, and it's not just Fast Lane Fred, as I call the mayor, who has this approach. It has been in place since the Coonerty regime, when Ryan Coonerty took this action. And recently, of course, the Board of Supervisors has done the same, sadly, removing the public access. I see this happening all over as we see it happening at a national level. I think item 14 we should be concerned with giving landlords more plush plums for security deposits. It's not much, but it cuts back on the rights of the tenants. Item 15, I'd like to see that what the complaints of some people about the Santa Cruz Police Department are, not just three words that say a police problem or some such thing, but the actual claims. Repeatedly, I've requested the city clerk to put these on the agenda, which I believe she has the power to do, although of course she could be overruled by the mayor and by the city council, but why not? These are public records. If we're going to give honest discussion at open session and closed session, we need the information. And it's only fair as well to the litigants. They know it's public. You know it's public. It's just the public that doesn't know it's public. So community members, that's the situation until we, the community, find some way to change it.
Well, thank you very much. Do we have anyone else online? Take next person online on the consent agenda. Good afternoon. Welcome to the City Council meeting.
Hello, Council. Hello, Fred. Bradley Snyder. So I'm just noticing off a lot of these are about Coral Street. And I want to make mention that in San Francisco, neighboring city to the north, we have this former head of the San Francisco Homelessness Services nonprofit accused of misappropriating more than $1.2 million in public funds, being charged with 9 felonies. And so you've got this kind of very high potential in the California cities scenario where for fraud and waste and abuse. And so I hope that people are more conscious of that, because lots of money is poured into these causes and topics. And I don't know if the SUD Center that's going to be funded on item, it's like 13. SUD Navigation Center. I don't know if they're offering what's it called? IOP, intensive outpatient stuff. That's certainly helpful to a lot of people in my estimation. But one thing that really doesn't happen, I feel like really, really frequently, what doesn't happen is like people evaluate, where is all this money going? Why is it being spent in such a large quantity all at once? Does it actually get provided, and is it actually spent? That kind of stuff is just kind of mysterious to the average citizen. That's the thrust of my comments. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, very good. Consent agenda, matters back before the body, the pleasure of the body.
I'll move the consent.
Moving the consent agenda, minus items 8, 13, and 16. There's a second by Councilmember Newsom. Is there debate or discussion? Motion, second. There we go. Further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Councilmembers Triguero.
Aye.
Brunner.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Holder.
Aye.
O'Hara.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Keeley.
Aye. Motion passes and so ordered. We are going to take up items 8 and 13 together, and I would invite our staff folks come up on this. Mr. M. Wally, thank you and your team for all of your very, very good work out in the community every day, helping those folks who are experiencing homelessness, and we appreciate that. The reason, Mr. M. Wally and members, the reason I asked if we could put this item over to our, for a little more discussion on 8 and 13, is I think that perhaps it is important to put a context around this. This city and our partners at the county and our partners in the nonprofit world work every day very, very hard to deal with a vexing compound complex, difficult issue all the time. And that is how to assist those in our community who are less fortunate and in the specific way of experiencing homelessness. And I think that without committing the sin of pride, that our city can be proud that we have reduced street homelessness by about 50% in about 3.5 years or so. And that has been done without invoking the powers provided to us by the Supreme Court to arrest people for being homeless. It does nothing on the issue. In fact, it probably does worse than nothing. So we and our team and our nonprofit partners and so on have, I think, taught us all the lesson that we meet people where they are and we work with them compassionately and carefully to assist them in exiting homelessness. And I think we've done a number of things that are quite good on that. One of our major partners, certainly over the years, has been Housing Matters, with the Rebel Family Shelter, with the day services, with the 120 units under construction of permanent supportive housing, the pallet shelters and so on. They've just been champions of better, healthy outcomes for folks experiencing homelessness. And they've had to make a decision. It's not our decision, it's their decision with regard to day services. And as they begin filling those 120 units of permanent supportive housing and keep all the rest of what they're doing there, they have to make a decision about how that is operationally going to work best for everybody on that campus and the new expanded part of the campus as well. But what that does do is leaves open the question of what do we do about day services. The city manager, myself, and others have been in numerous meetings with the County of Santa Cruz and others about how we will address this issue. And I wanted to have an opportunity for Mr. M. Wally to put out the architecture of where we are right now, what we are assuming as responsibilities on our side, what the county is assuming as responsibilities, and what we still have to work on going forward. And Mr. M. Wally, again, thanks, many thanks to you and your team for your good work, and the floor is yours, sir.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Larry M. Wally, Director of Homelessness Response and Community Programs. Pleased to be able to provide an update on where we are in the planning process in collaboration with the county and community partners on the next sort of state of day services with the closing of Housing Matters Days, drop-in day services at the end of March of this year. So real quickly, just the background, Housing Matters announced their plans to discontinue drop-in day services on March 31st. They made this announcement mid to late October. And embedded that decision really in focusing their mission on their core services of interim and permanent supportive housing moving forward. And really the timing of this decision comes in advance of the anticipated completion of RV West Studios. That's the 120 units of permanent supportive housing that you mentioned. That's expected in July 2026, I believe. That's the last information I have. So when we talk about drop-in day services, it's a constellation of services. It includes restroom access, shower access, mail services, water access, charging stations. And for context, in terms of the service volume, the most recent data I had from Housing Matters says that the restrooms and showers serve approximately 40 to 50 people per day on a drop-in basis. And on top of that, and moving forward still, those hygiene services, restrooms and showers, are going to continue to be available to the people that are in the shelter program. They're the lofts. And so there's another 40, 50 people a day that are served there that are part of residential programs. And that will continue. The mail services through Housing Matters, according to Housing Matters data, serve approximately 1,700 people per year. That service is being discontinued not only for folks who are drop-in, use the day services, but also for campus residents. So that is a program that's looking for a solution for everybody that's currently being served.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask
Certainly.
you a question about that. Am I right in believing that that's a statutory obligation of the county?
That is my understanding. And the county, as you'll hear later in this presentation, is working on a solution.
Thank you.
So relevant updates. We were last in front of this council on December 9th, providing initial steps in our planning efforts and how to move forward in collaboration with the county. As you mentioned, there's been ongoing conversations between city and county leadership and also including community partners. We formed a working group. We've continued those planning conversations between the city and county on trying to work towards new options for this constellation of services. We've also had numerous meetings with community partners who may play a role in providing these services. So some of this has been, we've reached out to get conceptual ideas. Other organizations have reached out to either the city or the county. And so the working group has been a body to really begin to organize that information and to think about what's feasible, who has what capacity, what resources it may require to help us begin to plan and prioritize. So we're doing that not in a vacuum, but with at least some initial information from members in the community who may be playing a role in those services. In addition, to try to gather a wider body of information to inform how we're moving forward, the city and the county work together to develop a survey titled Basic Needs and Connection Services for People Experiencing Homelessness to really get community priorities and what is, from their opinion, what's most important, as well as an option to provide sort of conceptual proposals if they were in a position to provide something. So we're trying to expand that base of information as we make these decisions moving forward and recommendations moving forward. Preliminary results from that, still waiting for the final results. The county is taking the lead on implementing and doing the analysis on this, but initial results shared from approximately 40 responses. This went out to everybody on the Housing for Health, it's the Continuum of Care mailing list. So I want to say that's 300 or 400 people in the community. So that's the initial response. What we saw initially is a strong need and support for public restroom and hand washing stations. That's really what was the #1 ranked priority. Coming in number 2 and 3 so far is really shower access and access to drinking water. So that's what the survey results have indicated so far, and those will get updated, and we expect to have those available at the end of this month. Where we're moving now with this initial information, we've landed in kind of 3 principal next steps. First, from the city perspective, we're recommending to focus access on expanded hygiene resources. We're talking about restrooms and hand washing stations. This could take the form either of expanding hours and servicing of our existing public restroom infrastructure. It may be adding additional portable toilets and hand washing stations at key locations throughout the city. It may mean the acquisition and contracting for more modular type restroom units that can be serviced more frequently and not just serve the unhoused community, but actually address wider public hygiene access in our community. So those are different options we're exploring and looking and gathering information on potential vendors and what the costs and the budgets may be. So that's where the city is recommending we focus on public hygiene access. As you alluded to, the county is working on a solution for mail services. They are working on developing 2 regional access points for people, one being the M-Line campus here in Santa Cruz, and then also at 500 West Ridge in Watsonville, the county location. Principally, this is for people to be on public benefits so that they can continue to access their benefits, but they can also receive other mail there. In addition, Housing Matters has been working with its clients that are utilizing mail services. They've developed this flyer that has a set of instructions of alternative ways that folks can set up mail access, whether it be for registering for general services, updating their address of a friend or family member with permission to have their mail directed there, get a P.O. box, and they've been holding some workshops in addition to just making this flyer available. In terms of next steps, city and county are working together to explore longer-term resource investments. What we're talking to are really initial and immediate responses to have something in place for April 1st. But again, we're not addressing at this point the full array of service needs. So we're continuing to explore longer-term resource investments based on the community feedback that we're getting through conversations in the survey, looking at our budgetary priorities as individual jurisdictions, looking where there's leveraging opportunities with funding, and we anticipate coming back with additional recommendations at future meetings. Related to that, the county is bringing an update to the Board of Supervisors at its March 10th meeting, and that includes some budget recommendations to begin to make some investments in this space. So this afternoon, we're asking the council to adopt a resolution amending our budget so that we can reallocate existing budgeted dollars from a variety of sources to be able to dedicate towards expanded hygiene services in the community, and also to direct us to continue to work with the city and county on further recommendations for day services. And with that, I'd be happy to take additional questions.
Thank you, Mr. Imwali. A couple of questions on this slide that's up now, that is the recommendation for action we would take. This is not a new $400,000. We currently, completely at our discretion, 100% at our discretion. There is no statute that requires us to spend one penny on homeless services, but we choose to spend $10 million a year. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And this $400,000 is a reappropriation of funding approved in the homeless space already that we are redirecting based on the decision that day services are going to take a different form going forward roughly at the beginning of April.
That is correct.
Okay. We already discussed the issue about the county has legal obligation with regard to the mail services. So with regard to the, what I'm calling hygiene services minus shower, because that's a separate issue over here. So the other hygiene services that we will be providing, these are going to be, there's going to be a bit of a disbursement, is that correct, in the city of Santa Cruz?
Yes, as we're looking forward, that's the kind of model that we're anticipating. So rather than having it concentrated at one fixed site that serves everybody in the community, to try to distribute this infrastructure so more people will be closer to that kind of access.
Okay. With regard to showers, I think it is perhaps in your report, but I have a recollection that before I arrived here, the city did a very good thing, and that they appropriated about $1 million for repair, renovation, modernizing the showers at Housing Matters, I believe in the Paul Lee Loft, perhaps, at that portion of the campus. Is that right?
That's correct. I believe that was completed in 2022, utilizing ARPA funds.
Okay. And when the city made that decision to do that, we were under the impression that those showers would be available for people who resided on the campus and those who came onto the campus each day to avail themselves of day services. Is that correct?
That was our assumption or belief at the time that we made that investment.
And if I understand the new relationship with Housing Matters, the Paul Lee showers, or excuse me, the showers in the Paul Lee Loft, for which we paid $1 million, those will no longer be available to for folks to walk in. In essence, this will no longer be a day service available at Housing Matters, correct?
Correct. That's part of the decision they made.
And
to
we've
end that.
already spent $1 million once to provide showers, which are no longer going to be available for day services. So the question of whether or not or what to do about showers is a future decision that we, the county, and our partners are continuing to work on, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I want to underscore this one more time. We have no statutory obligation. The county does. County has a lot of statutory obligation. There are subdivisions of the state of California designed to provide health and human services. We are a municipal corporation. The state of California imposes no obligation on us with regard to homelessness in any way. We choose what to do on that, and we choose, in my estimation, to be very thoughtful, very targeted, and frankly, very generous in that regard, because that's who we are as a city. But we have no legal obligation to do any of these things. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's discretionary.
Thank you. Let me see if I could move over to item 13. If you would give me a moment with Ms. Lipscomb, that would be helpful. Ms. Lipscomb, thank you very much for all of your good work all the time. You're really a spectacular public employee, and we appreciate your very, very fine work. The Coral Street Navigation Center has been in, at least since I've been the mayor, that's been a component part of how we have envisioned the future, a brighter, better future for folks experiencing homelessness. And in working with the county over time, and with Housing Matters, the thought was that the Coral Street campus is a wonderful place, or adjacency to it anyway, is a wonderful place for a navigation center. Would you take a moment and describe what a navigation center is and why the city is looking at that location?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Backing up to probably 2022, we were looking, and we went through a visioning process with the community about the future of the overall campus and the services. And when the opportunity came up to purchase Seaburg, we went ahead and moved forward as a city, looking at expanding the overall campus to provide a center that had wraparound services, to be able to provide specific, in addition to shelter, but specific health and supportive services around those who are experiencing homelessness in our community. And when the opportunity came up in 2024 through BCHIP at the state level to apply for a grant to fund a navigation center, we worked with our county partners and decided to go ahead and apply for that funding, which we were awarded last year. Just last month, we did sign the program funding agreement for the $30 million grant with the state. And the item before you today is to move forward in the selection of the consultant, of the architect, NJA Architects, to move forward with design services through construction administration of the navigation center, specifically focused on substance use disorder, a SUD center that does have 50 residential beds on site, and as well as treatment.
The navigation center, as I understand it, with regard to what happens inside it, in addition to the 50 folks who are going to be there, but the actual services provided in that, as I understand it, are, shall we say, evolving in terms of, we don't provide health and human services, county government does that. So we have applied for and received a $30 million grant to build this on property that we purchased, and the county is going to put what into this? Because as I understand it, it's an evolving issue. It was over here for a while, now it's over here in terms of what are the services the county is interested in putting in this navigation center.
Yeah, the county is interested in working with us on the ultimate services to be provided on campus. So they clearly fall within the county's purview of health and human services and meeting the needs of our unhoused community. So we're working right now, the grant criteria was around substance use disorder and including residential treatment and services on site. We're also looking to include mental health treatment and services related to substance abuse for those experiencing homelessness. So that's where it's sort of evolving as we're working with the county on future services that will be provided on campus. as well as, I should say, as well as future funding that will be available for the services that are provided.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So in summary, if I can, so the way it appears to me, it could appear differently to different people, but it seems that with no legal obligation whatsoever as a unit of government to work in this space, we choose to put $10 million a year of discretionary general fund money into providing direct services to those experiencing homelessness. We are also going to undertake going forward, hygiene services within that $10 million by a reappropriation process. We are also working with our partners in county government to figure out how the shower thing could possibly work. But in those meetings with the county, we have made it abundantly clear we have $10 million a year that we are voluntarily putting into this effort. So if we want to rework appropriations, that's a possibility. And lastly, that we have been granted $30 million for a navigation center. So it does seem to me that we do more than a little bit on this topic, that we are full partners in addressing the very serious needs that those experiencing homelessness have. And I believe that building on our success of reducing street homelessness through a compassionate, caring, thoughtful approach programmatically, that we are doing good work with good results. And I think these two items are very important to move forward on, but let me open the floor to my colleagues. Vice Mayor is recognized.
Thank you. Thank you for that presentation and the work. I really appreciate your line of questions, Mayor, and I may just pick up just a little bit there. I want to reiterate and confirm that our $10 million that are from our general funds goes towards service provision. It's our outreach team, it's our the 2 shelter programs, it's safe parking, safe sleeping. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And then I also want to just confirm the money that the city invested in the Housing Matters hygiene program was infrastructure funds. So one-time infrastructure, that's not funds we are getting back, as may be the case with the county.
That is correct.
All right. So my next question is the county looking at providing these services that will no longer happen at Housing Matters throughout the county? The city is partnering closely and we're looking at doing our part. What about the other jurisdictions in the county?
So at this point, the county is looking for countywide solutions, as is their mandate in most of our conversations. It's not just a Santa Cruz conversation, but looking at how they're able to make available services countywide. In terms of engaging other jurisdictions in the county, I'm not aware of those conversations. The county may be having them, but I don't have any information about them specifically being engaged in this conversation.
Okay, thank you. You know, as the mayor said, we are doing more than just a little, and that's apparent in our outcomes. I mean, the point in time count, the number of individuals who have found more stable housing, permanent housing, gotten off the streets. So our outcomes are showing that our investments are producing positive results. And we have jurisdictions from across the country who have reached out to me and other council members, and probably to yourself, asking us what we're doing differently. We've been featured in magazines and articles throughout the country based on our successes. So I want to name that here and name it to the public that I'm proud of the work that we've done, and others are noticing and wanting to emulate what we're doing here. I do think it's very important that we recognize that this is not a City of Santa Cruz challenge. This is a challenge that is a whole community, a whole Santa Cruz County, a Watsonville, Scotts Valley, Capitola challenge. And we will continue to make progress, but we can only make progress if others come to the table. Councilmember O'Hara and I serve on our county's Housing for Health policy board, which is our continuum of care. We've tried to bring this forward to that body that may or may not be the appropriate body. And I think I maybe am speaking to the choir, but I want to encourage us all to continue to do, to invite our partner, neighbor jurisdictions to the conversation, to be part of the solution. And then I just want to take a moment and thank you, Larry, and thank your team. I had the opportunity a couple months ago to do a ride-along, and I know the work, and I read it in the reports, and see it in our numbers, but to spend 3-4 hours with you all, it was just really impactful. So thank you for the work that you do day in and day out.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Further
that, and our
comments?
team appreciates that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Golder.
Thank you. I really appreciate what both of you asked and said, and I echo those sentiments. I do have a question. As the navigation center gets to completion, who's going to be operating it? Is it us? Is it county? Is it a nonprofit? Like, who's going to be doing the day-to-day operations, and what would that look like? And then I have a couple questions.
Yeah, that's a great question. It is not our intention at the city to operate it. That's not what we do. Our conversations with the county have ranged from the county providing potentially some of the services directly to putting out an RFP for an operator of the center as well. So it may end up being a combination of that. But our plan at a certain point, probably in the not too distant future, is actually to look at what community partners are interested. We have had some feedback of different organizations that may be interested down the road. I think we need to finalize some of the discussions with the county on the full scope of the services that will be provided on campus as well.
Okay. If I may, I think when we're talking about the $10 million or any investment that we're taking out of our general fund that could be used for other community activities, we're focusing that large amount of money on a small subset of people that are sort of transient in nature, and we're taking money away from the rest of the community that could be invested in pro-social activities or parks or maintenance or, salaries, whatever it may be. And so I think we really need to be strategic on what we are expecting in return on our investment. And so with that, I think whichever organization or organizations we're working with, they really need to be true partners. And I haven't felt that way all the time with some of the organizations that we've operated with, to be quite frank. I heard of a thing that happened last week where there was a burglary downtown. About $30,000 of equipment got stolen from 3 businesses, and Housing Matters staff was blocking police from recovering the business and not helping with retrieving the electronics that were there in the dumpster at the site. And when it's disappointing when we have our own outreach staff reaching out to me, and they've got people they want to bring in, and they still aren't working with the intake team at Housing Matters in a way that feels connected, if that makes sense, from my conversations with folks. And the same would be true with some of the other, places around. And so I just really want to be mindful of that. And then having the other concern that I have, I'm just going to be frank, is if we're having recovery beds right there on Coral Street, to me feels like having an AA meeting in a liquor store, because there's so much open drug use happening right there on Coral Street, that if I'm going back to when I first met you, Mayor, I don't know, it was 2012, 2013, we were on that safety task force. I had a student in my class that moved here from out of state. His mom was trying to get clean and going and getting her methadone at the county building, the same place they were doing needle distribution. And so that didn't work out so well. So I just really want to be mindful when we're choosing through these, whoever's operating it, that they have the same values and the same intention to reduce street homelessness, large encampments, and how to have, whether or not someone's unhoused, they still have to follow basic decency in our community. And so if that kind of makes sense. And so there's a lot to throw out there, but those were my thoughts around this item.
Thank you. Councilmember O'Hara.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for those comments. I really appreciate my colleagues' candor. It helps to ground this conversation across all of our different perspectives here. I would be remiss in talking about homelessness in our community, and particularly homelessness policy, without talking about Herb Schmidt, a titan of social justice who passed away on February 10th, longtime colleague of Paul Lee. While he might not have a shelter named after him, I think his contributions to the issue of homelessness, social justice, and just generally how this community grapples with such challenging subject matter. He was a mentor to me up until a few months ago, maybe now more like a year ago, would wheel his dart over to the shrine and meet me and others from the Association of Faith Communities to dig deep into homelessness policy at 95. So I would just want the entire community to recognize the passage of such an amazing individual. And I say these comments around homelessness and these particular areas that are really hard to grapple with him in mind, which is, I think, Mayor, how you talked about Jesse Jackson, peace, progress. Those would have been the words that would have come out of Herb Schmidt's mouth on this. This is a hard issue. And I know that there's a lot of folks here that are wanting to talk about what we're doing with this. We do invest an incredible level of effort. It is not just money. It is time. It is pain. It is trauma. It is all kinds of different feelings that we directly, with our outreach team, with our homelessness response team, with our public works office, staff, with our police staff, with our fire staff. This is not an issue that any department at the city does not grapple with. So on behalf of the entire community, thank you to Herb Schmidt and the work that you did around this. And I take very seriously the work that I do on this, kind of based on the commitment that he put into his 95 years of life and so many decades of focusing in on these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Brunner is recognized.
Thank you. I guess I have a couple comments. Thank you for pulling these items. In general, I support the public restroom options. I think there was an example given in the agenda report, and if I understand correctly, the goal would be to have these public restroom options throughout the city. And looking at those examples, I don't know how solidified, but that specific model or brand or company is, but I do support public restrooms that maybe are not gender specific. And, we've had this conversation before. Currently, our public restrooms are gender specific. And so one of the options is having separate sink areas and individual stalls, or a model like these loos that were cited here, and the way they look and the company and the servicing that comes with it, I think it would be a great investment for our city, for everyone, not just those unhoused, but for the public, the families that were here. I work downtown President's Day weekend, and toddlers have to go to the bathroom right then and there, and the options right now are hard. And so I really support that direction and reallocating the funds that, it's sad we lost Downtown Streets team and MH both nonprofits that are no longer in service, where we were contributing funds to support the services they offered. So I think this makes sense to reallocate those funds towards that option. And I'd like to stay in the loop, and I'm sure the public would like to stay in the loop as to how that progresses. And since the beginning for agenda item 13, the Substance Use Disorder Navigation Center, I have been so grateful for that $30 million grant. I think it will be such an asset to our community to have just another option of shelter, a place to be, to get care. We need to have all those different options of housing and shelter, and with the 120 permanent supportive studios coming to Housing Matters, and this navigation center and substance use disorder treatment beds, and all the very low income, moderate housing, all the housing, all of it's helping. And I think, in 3 to 5 years, we will start seeing some relief for folks at different levels. So I'm a huge supporter of that. And I just want to thank all of the staff and the work. And I see a bunch of the team sitting here. I know that there's a lot to work through, and I appreciate, I'm not one of the council members in the county city meeting, so I'm really happy to receive this update because I know a lot of people are asking and curious where things are at. And just a few days ago, I had a neighbor who just found out that day services were ending. Meanwhile, we knew last year. So it's always, I have to remind myself, not everybody has access to all the information that we get all the time, and it's important to keep sharing all this good news. And I hope our wonderful comms team continues to get all of this messaging out there. And thank you, Mayor, for phrasing kind of the contribution the city, and really clarifying what we're doing and how we're able to contribute and support our most vulnerable. And everybody has different needs, so I'm glad we're working with county. And I hope that we can also, I know there was a couple callers that called in regarding sweeps, and there's been just kind of this continuous concern regarding property when folks are maybe asked to move to a different location, or for whatever reason. I don't, we've asked before what the process is, and I do want to encourage the police department does have an online transparency portal. There's an independent auditor. So anybody who has complaints or praise to please submit through that portal. And it's a really important documented process. And hopefully we can also continue to work towards storage options, as obviously that's a great need and has been in process. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Let me see if there are other questions, comments. This would be the opportunity for anyone who is with us who wishes to make comment on either of these two items. This would be your opportunity to do so. Let me alert the city clerk that if we have anyone online, let me know about that. Is there anyone who wishes to testify? Come on forward, sir. Good afternoon and welcome to the city council meeting, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Tom Stagg. For those of you that don't know me, I was staff at Housing Matters for 9 years, and I was also on the Housing for Health Policy Board as well, so I'm here to talk about number 8, obviously. Thank you for to the council, mayor, and staff for keeping this item on the agenda over the last few months and for the energy that you're putting into it. I want to let you know that in addition to the city and the county working on it, that there are, as obviously, a lot of interested community members, and I've been working over the last few months to coordinate efforts between some of the individuals, organizations, faith groups, and nonprofits in regards to providing day services. And so I'd say that in addition to your work, that you can know that there's support out there to help. There's currently a faith-based organization working on a fundraiser. There's foundations and funders that are interested in this as well. So there's an opportunity for the city and the county to work with the community who have been attending the meetings, have been sending emails, and don't have to do it as a kind of saying you're not doing enough. I recognize the responsibility that's placed on you and the limitations that there are on funding. So there's other support out there, and I look forward to the opportunity to work on this still in Santa Cruz to answer kind of some of the questions or the comments that have come up. First, I'll say that doing this under the name The Belonging Collaborative, so it's brand new. You'll be hearing more of this. I have reached out to the city and the county work group on this idea, but we are looking at addressing some of those issues that were present in Housing Matters operations and the Coral Street campus. So it would be dispersed sites. It is looking countywide and looking to get that community neighbors, residents, citizen support as well. So it's not just coming from this government side. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and please pass on our thanks and appreciation to your colleagues as well. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome.
Hi, my name is Sean Doherty. I am one of those concerned citizens that he mentioned. So I went to Coral Street yesterday just to talk to some of the people who are living there, and there is a large amount of distrust towards the Housing Matters organization. There's a large amount of distrust towards this government. One person told me the only organization they trusted was Food Not Bombs. I'm guessing that's not a popular name around here, but I think that the reason why that organization may be trusted is that the people who are leading it are volunteers who are very much on the ground. And when I've talked to people from that group, when I've talked to people from the homeless union, they've said that they don't really feel like they're part of the decision-making in this government, and instead they have to lobby. So I would suggest that you try to bring in some people from that community to help with some of the decision-making. Now, they may be mistaken, but people in that community have been telling me that they believe that there are solutions that are much more cost-effective than what's been going on here. You're probably all aware that California is estimated to have spent about $24 billion on homelessness between 2019 and 2024, and we don't actually know what that was spent on. We don't have an effective way to audit it. When you just look at Housing Matters, we're spending $66 million on a 120-unit building. I understand that that's supportive housing, right? Permanent supportive housing, that's the most costly kind, but we could provide housing to people at a much, much lower rate per square foot. And I think that if you work with some of these people, you'll find that they're extremely clever and they have some really creative ideas on how we could more cost effectively provide permanent housing for the thousands of people who currently don't have homes in this county. And I heard someone talk about the pit. Probably y'all have heard this before, but the pit count is very methodologically flawed, and there's some other data that contradicts that pit count that someone had said, yeah, we've seen this big decrease in homelessness in Santa Cruz County, but if you look at the Medi-Cal and CalFresh numbers, you'll see that the number of homeless people receiving those benefits has actually gone up in that same period of time where the pit count went down. So I think we should be careful about patting ourselves on the back. But anyway, I think that if you work with these kinds of community grassroots organizations, there's a real opportunity to save money, to gain the trust of the community. I think there's going to be less policing necessary, potentially. We've seen that. We have seen self-organized organizations work in the past in homeless populations. All right, and I'm out of time.
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, the former mayor of the city of Santa Cruz, Don Lane.
Thank you all for listening to me and taking all this on. Yeah, especially I want to just say that I recognize that the city may not have an obligation, but I think in Santa Cruz we recognize that it is our human obligation, and I appreciate that we're taking it on. And also to thank you for, as Larry mentioned, there's a working group between the city and the county, and you've generously allowed me to participate in that because I have a lot of connections with folks doing this work, and I'm trying to contribute. And I really want to tip my hat to Larry and his team. They have done a really great job pulling some things together, you know, under a tight timeline. But as Larry also said, there's more to be done than these short-term fixes. And that's why I just want to really not let us get complacent if we move forward on restrooms and maybe a couple of showers. And, you know, frankly, the mail service that's being offered by the county is helpful, but it's not sufficient. So there's many things that are going to be lost if we don't step up beyond that. And I don't mean we, the city council, I mean we, the whole community. So I really want to just tip my hat, as you did, to Tom Stagg. We are so lucky that Tom is working on this, bringing his background in homeless services. He is really just on his own time pulling something really incredible together. And I know also the AFC and People First are stepping up to try and pull things together, because that's what it's going to take, is all these different groups doing that. The last thing I want to say, though, and I was reacting a little bit to something Ms. Golder said, that, you know, it's easy to somehow see that the folks who are unhoused are sort of this separate little part of our population. And I really want to disagree with that. They are us. They may have higher needs than us. They may, in some ways, the city may have to put more resources into their situations. But the reality is, that's how it works as a community, and what government's about is taking care of everybody, try to meet the needs wherever they are. And I know we do commit substantial resources to address homelessness, and we need to. Thank you.
Well, Don Lane, thank you for your literally decades of selfless and intelligent work on this topic. We have folks online. We'll take the first person online. Good afternoon. Welcome to the City Council meeting.
I want to thank Don Lane for, prior to his service in government, for keeping the bathrooms at the Saturn Cafe functional, usable by the public. It's too bad that the city can't incentivize businesses throughout the city to provide clean, functional restrooms for their customers, because, as we know, a rising tide raises all boats. I don't know, I forget. Anyway, one thing about the bathrooms, you know, that you're proposing, and it's a great thing that you know, people should have access to amenities like that, is, you know, of course, inclusivity. Sonia touched on how downtown there's you know, families, you know, people with kids that need restrooms. And to my knowledge, right now downtown, there's, you know, a couple public restrooms, and, you know, standard kind of places where you'll find restrooms. You know, London Nelson was taken out of, and they would kind of disingenuously refer you to the very, very limited hours office of the police department across the street after that. But you know, I got teased by the UCSC students, which, you know, I want to say the mode of the region that they're from is the East Bay, where they have terrible city planning. I was teased for talking about opening up the former Starbucks on Mission Street, like focusing on that issue. Well, it's another available restroom. The Shell station across the street from them, or the I believe it's Shell, might be Chevron. Their restroom is, you know, largely often not open, and it's a shame, because you have to kind of arm wrestle people at the fast food restaurants to use a restroom. And again, you know, you could incentivize those things, but in terms of inclusivity, you have people with disabilities. Obviously, you have the seniors, you have the tourists, and the tourist corridors are probably the least well served in terms of bathroom availability, unless they get it all the way down to the beach, you know, which is usually their ultimate destination. But yeah, just bathrooms in a bunch of parking garages, that just doesn't really serve everybody. You know, those bathrooms are insufficient, inadequate, and you know, applying sense to this issue is something that's going to help everyone enjoy the city of Santa Cruz.
I'm assuming you're finished. We've stopped hearing from you. I'm not sure. Are you finished? We good?
I'm about finished. Yeah, you can go ahead and talk.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you for your testimony. Appreciate it. Next person online.
Yes,
Good afternoon.
hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, hi. Well, I wish I'd have read this item. I'm just going on what I normally say. What I usually say is, how much per homeless person per year is any of this going to cost for what? And you don't say exactly. You just throw a big number up there. And, welfare is tricky. Being deserving of welfare is important, and people must do everything they can to meet their own needs. And I wonder what you're going to do to distinguish between deserving or not. I guess that's part of the navigation, but just being homeless, is that qualified? Please define. This seems like an intro into servicing the entire county's homeless population. Surely more will come here. How do you ensure that your money only goes to people that are local here and not recent arrivals or from the rest of the county, or what? Otherwise, it seems like a really bad idea. There's plenty of room out in the county for shelters and whatnot. And I guess I don't trust the point in time count just from people talking about these sweeps and so forth just before the count. Seems suspicious. Now, as far as drug addiction, I guess I firmly believe, like a year in jail will sober people up real good and have plenty of time to consider what they need to do to not be homeless. For those who can't get clean instead, maybe we need a new jail. I was getting ill hearing all the talk about social justice. Many, I would say most, but I don't really know, but many of the homeless are their own worst enemy. And I know I sure didn't have anything to do with their situation. And I already gave it the office and taxes to the Fed and the state for this kind of thing. And recall, this is a bigger problem than Santa Cruz can possibly solve. I'm sure the county would like nothing better than to use Santa Cruz for the county dump for all the homeless people in the county. I'm sure not going to use that unhoused word either. This has the smell of the homeless industrial complex. I don't know how efficient it's going to be. I hope it's more effective than just supporting the complex. What are the limits and future obligations for these kinds of services? Okay, that's enough. Thanks. That's it.
Well, thank you. Next person online, good afternoon. Welcome to the City Council meeting.
Hi there, I'm Athena Flannery. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much. So I just wanted to talk about the fact that, one, I'm so grateful that we got that presentation from Imwali to get more information. Like Bruno was saying, I think a lot of people don't have as much information as there is in this room. And thanks for those communication workers earlier. I think a lot of work is to be done with this specific topic, getting that communication out. And so I just wanted to talk about what I think is maybe being missed in this conversation. We're really missing the fact that if there is a lack of services somewhere, people are going to change where they go and go to where services are. And I think we need a lot more support, money, and services going to the library, because without charging being available at Housing Matters, a lot of people are going to be going to the library. No matter how many toilets you set up, the library has a pretty good one. People are going to be going to the library. I have personally been kicked out of the library parking lot when I was sleeping there. I think you're going to have a lot more encampments in the library parking lot coming up because people need services and they need a place to be. I'm kind of confused why you would put so much more services on Coral Street while you still make choices as a city to punish people for living there. I don't know why you'd want to service that area while also twice a week punishing them for living in that area. Raids and displacement is making everyone's disabilities much more severe and causing more money for our emergency system. And just to clarify some contradicting on the stigma that was just shared by the guy before me, a lot of people that are on the streets are because of the fact that they were in domestic violence situations. So many of my friends are on the streets because of a domestic violence situation. And the other biggest one that I talk to people about is disabilities. So I don't think a year in jail is going to fix things for them. And to Golder, I think your comments also came off with a lot of stigma. Free needles that are fresh and clean keep people alive and keep AIDS low. You do not want people using dirty needles, and your accusation that that is going to make it so people can't recover is absolute BS. Thank you for putting money into the SUDS Navigation Center, but you should not be sweeping everyone if you're going to let people use services there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another person online? We're all in, all good, as they say? All right, thank you very much. Matters back before the body, pleasure of the body. Councilmember O'Hara.
Thank you, Mayor. And just to confirm, it's possible to move both 8 and 13 at the same time? Okay, I'd like to move item 8, day services planning update budget adjustment with staff recommendations as included in the agenda packet, as well as item 13, design services contract for the Coral Street SUD Navigation Center with the motion language that is included in the packet.
Motion by O'Hara, second by Golder. Debate or discussion?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Seeing, hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
So just to confirm, this is the O'Hara and Golder for both
Both of
8 and 13.
Exactly.
And then this vote reflects 8 and 13 as well.
That is correct.
Councilmembers Triguero,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Newsom,
Aye.
Golder,
Aye.
O'Hara,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson,
Aye.
Mayor Keeley.
Aye. Motion passes as ordered. Thank you all very much for your participation. We are on item 20. This is consent public hearing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. 16. As I said, we're on item 16. And Councilmember O'Hara on item 16.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your patience. To the Sister Cities Committee for waiting. I am not pulling this for any reason other than to give our wonderful Sister Cities Committee an opportunity to talk about this upcoming potential Sister Cities relationship. I know that you have interest in providing a presentation, and we look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Carol LaBarton. I'm chair of the Santa Cruz Sister Cities Committee. And also here today are Erica Allende is chair of the Puerto Escondido Subcommittee. And Isaí Pazos is on the Puerto Escondido Subcommittee and is also executive director of Senderos. So last spring, several members of the Sister Cities Committee, as well as a number of community members, started discussing the desirability of having a sister city in Mexico due to the makeup of our population, so many claiming Latino heritage and the vast majority Mexican. So it seemed like a natural gesture to reach out to our southern neighbors. Our group formed a task force and we started to study what would be the best match. And next slide, please. I have this one. Right one? Okay, thank you. The things that you see in this slide, we found enough similarities to further explore the beautiful town of Puerto Escondido, which is indeed familiar to many surfers in Santa Cruz as a destination. So the response from Puerto was very enthusiastic, and in fact, they had never had a sister city. So it was indeed exciting for them. So following many meetings and discussions over, video, 3 of us went to Puerto Escondido in November. The 3 of us who are with you today. And following this very successful trip, we recommended to the Sister Cities Committee that we make a resolution that it be a friendship city. So that approval is before you today. And Erica and Isaí will tell you more about our experience with this new connection.
Very good. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, February 24, is Día de la Bandera, Mexico's Flag Day. It marks the adoption of Mexico's flag in 1821, a symbol of unity, independence, and shared identity. This makes it an ideal day to highlight our Puerto Escondido Sister Cities partnership. Born in Mexico City, I now proudly serve Santa Cruz, forging bonds between our coastal communities through ocean, culture, creativity, and mutual responsibility. Through this partnership, we are advancing initiatives in arts, conservation, public safety, and education. Casa Guavi, an internationally recognized artist retreat on the Oaxaca coast, offers opportunities for collaboration with the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History through artist exchanges, youth programs, and exhibitions celebrating our shared coastal identity. Similarly, Palmarito Turtle Camp protects endangered sea turtles and creates pathways for joint research. Student exchanges and volunteer programs alongside the Seymour Marine Discovery Center. In addition, our conversations with Save the Waves Coalition highlight the proposed 2026 Puerto Escondido World Surfing Reserve for 2026 that aims to protect world-class waves, surrounding ecosystems, and cultural heritage. Through sister cities, we see exciting possibilities for youth environmental programs, responsible surf tourism, and joint conservation initiatives. We are also working with the government of Puerto Escondido on the proposed Sister Waves Lifeguard Exchange Program, sharing knowledge to improve safety in powerful surf conditions. In 2025, around 30 drownings in Oaxaca involve American citizens. So both local and US authorities have encouraged collaboration. We have already held an initial coordination meeting with Marine Safety Captain David Bodin from the Santa Cruz Fire Department. This program emphasizes prevention, training, and professional exchange to strengthen public safety. Academically, the UCSC and UMAR, University of the Sea, hold significant potential for collaboration. UMAR's expertise in marine biology, coastal resilience, fisheries science, and applied environmental research complements UCSC's strengths in ocean science and interdisciplinary innovation. Their bachelor's degree in nursing also opens pathways to partner with Cabrillo College's nursing program. Additionally, language exchange programs will further build cultural understanding and create meaningful binational research opportunities. Santa Cruz has long championed environmental leadership, cultural vibrancy, and global friendship. This Mexican Flag Day reminds us that we can connect our communities across oceans through creativity, science, and shared purpose. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the City Council meeting.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Bonjour, that's Zapoteco. As my colleagues have mentioned, right, why do we want to do this Puerto Escondido cultural exchange with Santa Cruz? Well, it's not about just traveling. It's actually learning from each other, learning from two different cultures. Puerto Escondido having the Afro-Oaxaqueño, which is African communities that live in the coastal area of Puerto Escondido, and also our communities here that actually currently live. I know that you don't see a lot of Oaxaqueños or Oaxaqueños Mexicanos here in the Santa Cruz areas, but I know you've probably been to celebrations like Guelaguetza. A Guelaguetza event that happens annually here in Santa Cruz, a Guelaguetza event that happens in Seaside, and a Guelaguetza event that happens in San Jose. So basically, we have a huge or large community of Oaxaqueños in this county. And our Guelaguetza event, by the way, is coming up. So I'm gonna pitch it in, which is gonna be on April 26th at Brancy 40 Small Schools. A celebration that, the city sponsors. And we are excited that as this is coming along, this exchange will basically help youth and adults. Not only in many ways. It would help them youths understand their culture. It would help adults basically feel, again, living the experience of being in Oaxaca. A lot of our community members sometimes cannot go back. Most of us know the reasons why. And it's beautiful to actually bring Oaxaca to Santa Cruz. And the possibilities of taking a few of our community members from Santa Cruz to Oaxaca to experience and live the culture. So As you know, we, as an organization, I run an organization which is Senderos. I'm the executive director of that's such an organization. And we bring a lot of community members from Oaxaca. One of the examples is musicians. We bring a lot of musicians annually to this beautiful city. We bring a lot of arts and culture to this beautiful city. And we bring a lot of teachers and instructors to this city. I know my colleagues have just talked about, universities and making, this proposal. But at the same time, I wanted to talk about more on the cultural side as well, the culture that we also have in this beautiful city. So I think in summary, what I wanted to say is Puerto Escondido, Santa Cruz Exchange is not simply travel. It's a transformational experience that strengthens identity, deepens cultural respect, and builds by national community leadership across generations. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Ushkende.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any questions? Anybody want to go?
Let me see if there are questions by council members. We'll start Councilmember Golder. I know Councilmember Brunner, so Councilmember Golder is recognized.
Appreciation for all of you and what you're doing to bring this forward. I had a conversation with you how I was feeling conflicted about this, just having Oaxacan friends that cannot return and are essentially kind of, here. But you really made me think about it in a different way. And then it's really bringing the culture here and giving the people that are here that can't go back the connection to their culture at home. And I think it's really a beautiful thing. And so thank you for bringing this to us. And I'm excited to support and see what happens next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Brunner.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to see some of the photos from when the three of you traveled to Puerto Escondido. And I'm just so excited for the future of this friendship and this relationship and building upon it. I think cultural exchanges are so essential. If you can't travel, at least being exposed to different cultures, different languages, different music, dance, food is essential in growing as a human being. So thank you for exploring this. My question is, what is the next step after, if you could just talk about the process, first a friendship city and then a sister city is the next step?
Yes, so the friendship city process or status is for 2 years. And during that time, we'll do all of the things that a regular sister city will do. For instance, we're planning to invite a delegation from Puerto, including universities, faculty, and others from the city, perhaps artist exchanges to come to Santa Cruz in this period of time. We hope that others from Santa Cruz will be able to travel again to Puerto. We can also do online exchanges. We're exploring all kinds of possibilities to really get acquainted with each other and the richness of our cities. But yeah, 2 years, and assuming all goes well, then we can make it a permanent sister cities relationship.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Thank you very much. Let me see. Did I already go out to comments? I'm just got to make sure. Sometimes I don't track this as closely as I ought to. I'm merely the presiding officer. Let me see if there are others who would like to comment on this item. Please come forward. Good afternoon. Welcome to the City Council meeting.
Hello, my name is Fernanda Medina, and I'm also from Mexico City. And I believe that with the things that have been happening in Mexico, like a couple of days ago, which has been frightening, like scary, we all have friends or family there. I think that this possibility of bringing culture, music, and belonging here, it's also a sign of we're together, Mexico and the United States, we're neighbors, we're together no matter what. So to me, it's like a sign of we're together in, how do you say it when you get married? In the good and the bad? Yeah. So we're together with whatever is happening in Mexico, and we don't know really what's coming for the following days and months and years. But if we have projects like this, it's like a little island of hope for everybody. So I totally say yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else with us wish to testify on this matter? Do we have anyone online, Ms. Bush? Matter is back before the body. Pleasure of the body. Councilmember O'Hara is recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move to approve the adoption of Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca, Mexico as a friendship city as recommended and resolved by the Sister Cities Committee.
There's a motion.
I'll
There's
second.
a second by Councilmember Bruner. Is there further debate or discussion? Councilmember, on your motion?
Thank you. Just some brief comments. Deep appreciation for the work that has gone into this. As a former city employee and now a council member, the concept of how a sister city starts is really like a mystery, right? Like, who are these cities? How did this happen? Why did it happen? I think it probably only happens generationally, right? So the fact that we are a body that can walk through this process is really important to understand the pieces of the puzzle that need to be put together in order for this to happen. So I appreciate the Sister Cities Committee, Trey, Parks and Rec, for continuing to bring this to our attention. And I would just want to say, I think that this relationship is super unique for the city of Santa Cruz, even in relation to other sister cities, in that, you know, my 3 daughters went to the Dos Salas program at De La Viega. Senderos is deeply embedded in that school, that institution, the culture. Attending the Guelaguetza every year, seeing, you know, Oaxaqueños and Mexicans come to Santa Cruz, it is a deeply cultural and important event in our community. You have that whole entire thing going on, which is so important. And then Puerto Escondido as a world-class surf destination, there's this whole other demographic of Santa Cruzans that maybe they've never attended a Guelaguetza, they are interested in this. They will be interested in this. So I deeply appreciate the work that's gone into this. I agree that that cultural exchange is so important, and I really hope, in addition to what you've put into the slides, that we think about that conduit all the way through our grade school children, some of them that might be at Dos Salas, some of them might be at Bayview and other grade schools, bringing that all the way through. And I just look forward to the work that you guys are doing, and thank you.
Further debate or discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmembers Triguero,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Newsom,
Aye.
Golder, O'Hara,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson,
Aye.
Mayor Keeley.
Aye. Motion passes and so ordered. Thank you all very, very much. Congratulations. Good work. Good work. Now, we are on item 20. This is a consent public hearing item. This is a second reading and final adoption of an ordinance amending our municipal code dealing with accessory dwelling units and related items. Do we have any presentation on this? Okay, very good. This matter's been before us before. I am opening the public hearing. This will be the opportunity for anyone to testify on this matter. Anyone with us in chambers wish to do so. Do we have anyone online on this item? The matter is last call on testifying on this item. Public hearing is closed. Matter is back before the body. Councilmember Golder is recognized.
I'd like to move item 20.
Councilmember Golder moves. Councilmember Newsom seconds. Approval of the item as recommended. Further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Councilmembers Triguero,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Newsom,
Aye.
Golder,
Aye.
O'Hara,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson's currently absent, Mayor Keeley.
Aye. Motion passes and so ordered. Thank you for your fine work on that, staff folks. We are on item 21 on our regular agenda. This is a public works item relating to e-bike regulation concepts. We have material in our packet and Ms. Kaluli with us in chambers. As usual, thank you, Ms. Kaluli, for your very good work and your colleagues in the Public Works Department. We really do appreciate that every day.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. Claire Glogly, Principal Transportation Planner with the City of Santa Cruz. There it is. Thank you so much. And today we're here to talk about e-bikes. I'm sure many of you do that most days, just like me. Jumping right in, we're going to go through existing conditions and do some level setting on shared understanding of what e-bikes are and aren't. Go through what we're already doing, go through our proposed policy changes, which are in your packet, and continue to evolve with changes at the state, and then get into recommended action. So first and foremost, what I want to start with is that we are all at the city and on this body really committed to mode shift. We have climate action plan goals to increase the percentage of people who are taking active transportation to 23% by 2030 and to 30% by 2035. That's going to take a lot of really hard work on everyone's part in order to make that happen. So starting with that, we're very committed to mode shift. We're very committed to making our community a place that's friendly to walk and bike. And we need to talk about e-bikes. So e-bikes have merged very, very quickly as a mode, and we haven't all the way caught up. If you read the red lines of our Muni Code changes, e-bikes aren't even mentioned in there. So some of this stuff is just basic, bringing us into current practice. And other is that the state of the practice and the data that's available isn't all that great to inform us in making public policy. So we're using what we have, and you'll probably continue to see me as we iterate on this. So getting to that shared understanding, what are e-bikes? They're actually very, very well defined in California Vehicle Code. It's a 3-class system. Class 1 can go up to 20 miles per hour. Class 2 can go up to 20 miles per hour and has a throttle. Class 3 can go up to 28 miles per hour. All of them are have a maximum power of 750 watts. To ride a class 3, you need to be 16, and to be on a class 3 as either a rider or a passenger, you must wear a helmet. So that is what an e-bike is. Here's what an e-bike is not. And lots of the times that we talk about problems on e-bikes, we're not talking about e-bikes, we're talking about problems with e-motos, which is what we generally call out-of-class e-bike shaped devices. These bikes typically have motors that are larger than that 750 watt. They can travel faster than the 20 or 28 miles per hour. They have peak power that is much stronger than what the in-class street legal vehicles are. To actually get street legal would be almost impossible on many of these vehicles, but they are sold usually in a direct-to-consumer model. Most of them are fairly affordable, and it's really, really hard to distinguish oftentimes when they're going by you very quickly. Is this a cool-looking in-class e-bike, or is it actually an out-of-class illegal e-moto? You know, Councilmember Golder, in her role as Principal Golder, sent me a photo recently asking, is this bike on my campus a legal or a not legal e-bike? And I had to do some research online to be able to determine. So continuing on this shared understanding, what are the rules? The rules of the road for e-bikes are the same as for all other bikes and for everyone else on the road. Yes, you have to stop at a stoplight. Yes, you need to obey all the signs and striping. Often in these conversations, I hear from folks, I saw an e-bike who ran a stop sign. We need a new rule. We don't need a new rule. That rule exists. So level setting there, we do have a lot of enforcement mechanisms already in place, and we should talk about what we have in place and where we actually do need new rules and where we might need to grow. One thing to call out that is different, Class 3 e-bikes, those are those that go up to 28 miles per hour. You do have to be 16 or older, and everyone, rider and any passengers, has to wear a helmet. And as a body, you do have the ability to regulate those on multi-use paths. So why address it? Yeah. I'm glad you guys are having fun too. Mainly it came from council direction. You gave some really specific direction to come back to you with areas that you're concerned about. Also public health efforts. I want to recognize the work that I do at a lot of different levels, both locally, regionally, and the state level, that we are absolutely not the only community that's having these conversations. I have them every single day, talking to Chief Escalante yesterday. You know, the police chiefs are also having these conversations. It's an emerging area of practice, and really our policies and our rules and regulations haven't caught up to how quickly these have been adopted. So really what we're doing, there's not a lot of right answers here. It's a lot of emerging policy. So what are we already doing also? This is the area to give yourselves a pat on the back because lots of the best practice involves how do you make sure that people are able to use e-bikes and be safe, and how do we set that framework that we can then build upon? So the first thing here is infrastructure. That's the number one recommendation, that if you have safe infrastructure, it helps people to be safe. You guys have really been leaders in approving projects and championing projects that create exactly the type of infrastructure that is shown to reduce collisions and shown to reduce serious injuries and fatalities. What you have up here is segment 7 of the rail trail. You have a ride that we did when we launched Bike Share. You have the recently installed separated bike lane on Bay. All things that you guys have been approving and we have been doing to increase roadway safety for people biking and make people biking more predictable, which is often one of the things that we hear is that some folks on e-bikes are behaving unpredictably. The next is education. Again, we are longtime leaders over decades in investing in school-based and adult-based and community-based education. We currently provide programming at elementary, middle, and high schools, and also do a lot of adult community programming. We have a huge emphasis in our adult programming also on engaging females and families who are typically underrepresented in cycling and are often the teachers of the kids. So really looking at lessons learned there. We're also really excited about this new pilot program that we're going to be launching in partnership with Santa Cruz City Schools, Ecology Action, and the Police Department to pilot an e-bike parking permit program at our middle schools. So kids who want to ride e-bikes to school are going to be required to take an in-person safety class and an on-bike experience as part of that, provided through Ecology Action and some grant funding that we have. And then they'll receive a very similar e-bike parking permit to the one you see on the screen and be able to park on campus. We're piloting at middle schools because they can't drive yet. And more often than not, they have to listen to their parents a little bit more. So really working on that. We're working with public health on expanding parent-child e-bike contracts. You may have heard me refer to these as Mad Libs. My child is allowed to ride in this geographic radius. They have to be home by this time. They are not allowed to carry passengers. If they get caught breaking the rules, the consequence is going to be X. What we found is that many parents have no idea how to talk to their kids about e-bikes, rules of the road. They haven't ridden a bike since they were a child, and they have no idea what they're getting into. So giving some guiding parameters there. And then finally, as I mentioned, we do have some grant programming, some grant funding, and the police department does as well. And we've really directed those funds to go towards our middle and high schools with an e-bike focus. So all of our middle and high schools are getting enhanced e-bike education already. This is happening. This is not something that we need to do now. You guys are doing great work. Getting on to enforcement, what are we already doing? Enforcing the rules of the road. We can enforce on helmets, and something that our police department has been doing is citing and impounding e-bike shaped devices, those e-motos. Here's some graphics. We started doing that last August, and from what I've heard, it got a lot of attention. That some kids got caught with illegal e-motos, they got impounded, that's expensive, and parents talk. So that's been a healthy deterrent. Next, we get into what should we do? So again, emerging areas of practice. There's not a lot here that we're basing our decision-making on. We're really, at the same time as everyone else in California, looking to craft new public policy. In December, a report from the Mineta Transportation Institute was released that looks at the state of the practice and made preliminary policy recommendations that they're recommending at the statewide level. We pulled heavily in these recommendations from that report. The first that we jump into is speed limits. So right now, as mentioned, class 1 and class 2 e-bikes can travel up to 20 miles per hour, class 3 up to 28. This is set by vehicle code, and this is something that's set at the state level. So changes to this, we would need to lobby on that level. The recommendations from the MTI report were to revise our existing 3-class system to more closely match the classification system in the UK, Japan, and Australia to a lower speed, higher speed. I think that's a very worthwhile exercise. It would drop the maximum speed to 16 miles per hour, thereabouts, for the lower speed. And at the higher speed that could go up to 30 would require licensing and registration. So recognizing kind of a different system. That could be one approach. The other approach is that just recently AB 2346 was introduced, which would allow local agencies to set speed limits on our active transportation facilities, our sidewalks, our multi-use paths, and our separated bike facilities. That's another emerging opportunity. Something I'll reiterate as we go through here is there's been 6 bills, and you'll see them at the end, that have just been introduced in the last few weeks. I would anticipate more to come, and that there's a lot of momentum at the statewide level right now. Next is rider age restrictions. Level setting here, youth are not where we're seeing our serious injuries and fatalities. It's where we hear a lot of complaints. It's where we hear a lot of feedback. But in the data from Santa Cruz County EMS, youth under age 18 represent 18% of all e-bike related injuries. By and large, the folks who are having serious injuries and where we see fatalities are with the older adults, not with the youth. So as we're looking at age restrictions, really what we're regulating on is behavior and concerns about recklessness than it is informed by the public health data that we have. Something else here that I thought was really important, I've shared with Councilmember Kalantari Johnson. One part of my job that I really like is I get to engage with all of our principals. And the principal from B40 Middle School shared a really powerful story with me, saying that they had students who had problems with truancy and non-attendance in school. And having e-bikes for those families allowed those kids to get to school on time. And even in addition to that, allowed them to be able to participate in extracurriculars outside the school campus, or otherwise they had family transportation issues that did not allow them to participate. I think that's a really important piece of framing as we think about how we set age limits or how we advocate for age limits around e-bikes. It has definitely created increased access of youth where otherwise there were issues. Our recommendation on age restrictions also, because these are set in vehicle code. Class 3 has it set at 16, is to partner with other jurisdictions in our county and really take a regional focus to how we would like to lobby at the state for age limits on e-bikes. This might be a Santa Cruz County carve-out, or it might be a whole state new addition to vehicle code. We have 2 recent examples. In Marin County, they've set a minimum age in a pilot program at 16 for class 2 e-bikes, those are with throttles. And in San Diego County, they have set a minimum age limit of 12 for those riding class 1 or class 2. Some examples there. To helmet enforcement, this was something that came up. Again, this is an existing tool. Something to know that was interesting to me is that the fine for helmet violation is $25. Next to signage and facility design, something that came up here from Councilmember O'Hara was questions about how our existing facilities are designed. Overall, we're seeing more people on our facilities, and I think we'll continue to iterate on what those designs are. What we are currently doing and should be rolling out any day now is what we're calling a social norming campaign. So we're installing the signage you see on the right hand, the colorful, friendly signage in the vein of the poop fairy signs that we have up, to be encouraging, to be friendly, and to give more information. Essentially, we're going with a shared space, shared pace campaign, and we'll monitor it and see how it goes. And finally, some additional efforts here. So these are all things that I'm heavily involved in. I'm working with the CalBike E-Mobility Council, which is a statewide organization that includes industry, advocacy, and government, working on policy setting and helping to inform what goes into these policies. Working with the Active Transportation Research Group, which is largely academic, and their goal is to get academic research to drive public policy, specifically related to active transportation and e-mobility. We also have a local group that was convened by Public Health, the E-Bike Safety Subcommittee, which involves all of our local jurisdictions, the university, and public health. That's helpful. Heavy work with Santa Cruz City Schools, and then working with California Walks on some efforts that they have underway called Walk, Bike, Roll, to work on curriculum development that would bring more standardized traffic safety curriculum to every K-12 student. So those are all things that are also going on in tandem that support these efforts. And finally, these are the 6 bills that have currently been introduced this session that relate to various elements of e-bikes, including speed, safety, registration, marketing, power, and then one placeholder that I can't wait to see what comes from that. And then finally, what we do have in control of locally. You have a red line proposed ordinance that really brings us up to current standards, updates to reflect current state law and vehicle code, reflect that e-bikes exist, and to remove the mandatory bike registration we currently have in our code that we're actually no longer allowed to have since 2023. With that, I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Galuli. Let me see if there are questions, comments by members. The vice mayor is recognized.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much on your work and the wealth of knowledge you've brought to our little group that we worked with you and the council. And I want to take a moment to thank Chief Escalante and your team. I've seen next door posts on those impoundments of the bikes, and I've gotten emails from constituents. Sometimes we do get emails thanking us for the work that you all do. So those have been nice, but I also get consistent communication from community members who are very concerned about this issue. So really appreciate the work. As you said, this world of e-bikes is shifting quickly, and there's increased use, which is what we want to see. We want to see increased access for our young people, those who don't have access to bikes. But that means that we need to come up to speed. Certainly with our Muni Code adjustments, but I think we could go a little deeper. And you've given some really great recommendations in your suggested recommended motion. Glad to see that there's stuff happening at the state level. I want to be a little bit more proactive around age limits and speed. So when we're through with deliberation, I have a suggested motion that I'll bring forward. What else do I want to say? I think that's what I want to say, is that I think the speed and age limit are components that we can, I think, be a little bit more proactive. And I'm really glad to see all the social norming campaign and the work that we're already doing with the schools. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The questions, comments, Councilmember Golder.
I appreciate everything that you said, and thank you for all your work you've been doing on this for a long time. With our lobbyists, are we working with them to help move some of these things along at the state level? And I don't know if this goes to Matt or to Claire.
It's a topic on their radar.
Yeah.
So as Claire mentioned, we will continue to track on that. There's a couple that are just placeholder bills that don't have any detail at this point in time. So we'll be watching those evolve closely and come back with updates as appropriate.
Thank you. And as they do, as you know, that they align with our values, offering letters of support when appropriate, I guess, is my request from the council or from the mayor.
Councilmember Brunner is recognized.
Thank you. Thank you for all of that information and also for including the current state bills. I think it's really helpful to have that overview. I know this has been in process. I know we've been working towards safety for our community over this past year or more. And so it's great to see this progress. My questions are is there any work with e-bike stores? Are they part of this education and conversations?
That's a great question. I would first plug that say most of our local bike shops are really great about the work that they do. I know many of them require a parent to ride the same bike that their child is going to purchase, so they have the on-bike experience of how fast, how heavy it is. I think public health has discussed making like a brochure or a one-pager that they could distribute to all the bike shops. That could be something we could pursue.
Okay, great. And which also, my other question was this education, and maybe it's part of said brochure or something else, but e-moto versus e-bike, I think would be great general public education. I also wanted to, the age limits and the speed, so I'm happy that it's, there are some other interest in that. I work downtown, and we just, over the last 6 months, I could give so many examples of every now and then adults, but primarily youth. There is a current ordinance of no bicycles, no skateboards, no roller skates on the sidewalk downtown. It's a high trafficked pedestrian commercial district, and I've seen dogs hit. I saw a senior citizen in a walker hit. I've seen near misses constantly. It's so dangerous, the speed that is on these bikes. And more recently, the youth on the sidewalks, they're now going through El Palomar. They're going through Bookshop Santa Cruz. They're reckless drivers. And it's hard to catch them. So enforcement is hard in these situations. If you manage to get a photo, how do you identify them? These are all questions that have come up. And so working with the schools, and I don't know how enforcement identifies youth and kids if they zoom by. And so that's a question I'd like to insert into forward work on this, a way to, really stop it. And I know the education part is crucial, learning the rules of the road. So yelling out, hey, follow the rules of the road, doesn't mean anything to a 12-year-old who has never had a permit or a driving class or a lesson about, hey, that's one way. Hey, that green lane on Pacific Avenue means you go that way, south, and you have to travel this way on the other side, or stop at stop signs, or you can't turn on the one-way street when cars are coming. There's so many instances every day, but I really hope that it's included about riding on the sidewalks. That's such a key danger for everybody that I see every day. And thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Further questions or comments at this point? Let me go out to the public and see if there's anyone with us who wishes to comment on this item. This will be your opportunity to do so. There are more than one. We can just line up, sir. Go ahead. And Ms. Bush, do we have anybody online yet? We do? Okay.
Boy, oh boy.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Golder.
I mean, good afternoon.
You got an hour? No. I ride an electric trike. I got $2,000 in the machine. Tricycles are not bicycles. Tricycles have one exceptional quality. They can go as slow as they want and they can stop. And I go down Pacific Avenue and down the sidewalk, and my bike has a setting for power and torque that allow it to, you can pedal it as slow as you want, or you can sit there and talk to somebody. It's a whole different class. Now, I went to a retirement at the boardwalk for, I can't remember if it was a city manager or mayor, but he gave a wonderful speech. And the speech was, you can't manage what you can't measure. And there are hardly any measurements at all because these things aren't recorded. And there's no requirement for identification on the bike. It's happening. And I was listening on the radio, and I can't remember what station it was, but this was for an annual accident report of electric bikes, and it said that it increased 167% in 1 year. Now, I don't know what's real or what's not in that, but there's very few ways to gather the information. Probably the best way is with videos, and then being actually to stop people and have them maybe voluntarily be some kind of safe bike program where they report on a regular basis, or students gather at an intersection and report accidents. But you don't know, you have no idea. I see it all the time. And I've been a few accidents myself, just poorly lit places where the curve in the driveway and in the street, especially at night, seem to merge into one, and you misjudge it and you land up on the pavement. I wear a helmet, I put on every safety light I can, I buy extra lights on there, I wear visible clothing. I have at least 3 sources of light at night in case one fails. You don't know. You have no idea. And this should start at the schools. When I was in school at that level, at 5th or 6th grade, you had to have a bike safety to ride the bike on campus, and you actually had to qualify to get a bike license This was Tucson, Arizona, but to get a bike license, you had to go through a safety course and prove you knew all the hand signals and all that. So there's a hell of a lot of work to do, is all I got to say. And you've got to get people to do that work, and you've got to organize it in a fashion that it comes out that you've measured something you can control or enforce. That's it. I'd be happy to contribute anytime they're putting together a group to discuss this matter, because I see it all the time.
Very good.
And I'm part of it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Welcome.
What is the time limit on, I was limited to two,
I mean, total of 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
And then you're starting a couple seconds late, so I'll give you a couple extra seconds. Here
Thank
we
you
go.
so much. I want to say my name is Michael Collins, and I'm a 36-year resident of downtown. I spoke last week about this issue. I want to acknowledge Councilperson Bruner for her comments. The original ordinance was 50 years ago. 50 years later, we're still dealing with this issue. In 2021, the 1976 ordinance was amended to include the impoundment of property. I said last week that we should have signage that says the first fine is $1,000. The second fine should be $10,000. Now, if a young adolescent goes back to their parents and said, "Sorry, Dad and Mom, I just got a $10,000 fine," well, then maybe we would have more progress on this issue. Councilmember Bruner brought up about the adolescents ganging up on the sidewalk. I am a permitted sidewalk vendor, and I've experienced this. I have told an adult who rides on the sidewalk every day, I say, "Get off the sidewalk." He just laughs at me. The adolescents, no one is enforcing it, and they're gonna keep riding on the sidewalk unless the city council deals with this issue. Do not allow anyone to ride a bicycle or an e-bike on the sidewalk. It was passed 50 years ago. Why are we dealing with this issue now? I want the city council to be proactive. I said last week that if it was a little old lady or a small child or a handicapped person, that the city council, the city of Santa Cruz, would face a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. And I'm happy that the week after I spoke, and I can see from other presentations here, that people have been dealing with this issue. And I just urge you to ban bicycles and e-bikes off of downtown sidewalks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. First person online, Ms. Bush, we'll take that person. Good afternoon. Welcome to the city council meeting.
Well, welcome. This is James Ewing Whitman. I just wish I could have been there in person, but hey, I've been listening to most of this. So I want to thank the initial presenter for going over all the information that she did. I also want to thank Councilmember Brenner for bringing up information that people need to be educated on what the rules of the roads are. I don't know if many other 9-year-olds besides myself are driving on California highways and Texas highways at 9, but hey, kids are a lot brighter than we give them credit for often enough. So back to someone brought up something about truancy. And it's my understanding that you have to be 16 years or older to use an e-bike that goes up to 28 miles an hour and 12 and older for something that goes 16 to 20. I think whatever we can do to get these students that are having a hard time to go to school is great. I know from my personal experience, I got something in the mail on September 25th, put it together, went and bought a lock, went and bought something for my friend, went to visit some people. And I realized that evening that I don't know the last time I ever had so much fun in my life on that little e-bike. So I think it's all about etiquette and how we want to treat others. I have had e-bikes and people on mountain bikes pass me in situations that really angered me. So I don't know how we can get people to really think about how would you feel if that was done to you. But maybe that's what we need to do. And I would assume that, well, I can't assume anything because I didn't read my paperwork, but how difficult would it be to distribute the rules of the road to whoever is using these bikes? Because kids are really quite coordinated and they're capable of doing all kinds of crazy things. So these are e-bikes and stuff that are on the roads. Off-road, it's amazing what these 4-year-olds are doing. So anyway, I think this is mostly a step in the right direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next person online, good afternoon. Welcome to the City Council meeting. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a inveterate e-bike rider. I didn't enjoy the when you instituted the B-cycle program. It seemed like you couldn't walk a block with somebody just darting straight onto the sidewalk and immediately coming up and endangering you. I ride on the sidewalk on occasion when I feel it's safe. Bikes are in a kind of a zone between pedestrian and vehicle for legal purposes. According to California Vehicle Code Section 21200, they must behave like vehicles on all highways. I honestly think one solution might be on the statewide level. They enhance general misconduct and endangerment towards children and senior citizens. Maybe inclusive of just any pedestrian on a clearly marked sidewalk. To be something where the endangerment is enhanced by the use of an e-bike, and then people become aware that they're not supposed to do that. The B-cycle program kind of grew out of that initial phase of the first several months where it was utterly ridiculous. You could barely walk. I mean, literally just a block or two down in downtown, and you would get a person just jetting straight onto the sidewalk, coming straight at you with one of the B-cycles. So there's already a lot of, general customs about bikes, not riding bikes on sidewalks, but formalizing it into a statute is obviously something that's coming along because, you could turn any bike into an e-bike if you had a drone strapped to a helmet, and it was pushing air behind you. The idea is you've got to be proceeding and prosecuting your transportation in a safe manner. That's I think the most basic consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is this last remaining call?
That was it.
That was it. Very good. Anyone else wish to testify? Matters back before the body. Pleasure of the body. The Vice Mayor is recognized.
Thank you. I have a motion. I've sent Ms. Bush. Wait till that comes up. Thank you. So just for the council and the public, what you see highlighted in yellow are new parts to the motion, and what's not highlighted is as written in the agenda report. So I'll only read the parts that are highlighted in yellow.
Very good.
So the new parts are to item 3, direct staff to work with state and regional partners, including state legislators and policy lobbyists, to pursue inclusion of Santa Cruz in existing state authorized pilot programs, or pursue new authorizing legislation to establish a minimum rider age of at least 10 for Class 1 and Class 2 e-bikes. And item 4, direct staff to evaluate and return to council with a letter in support of Assembly Bill 2346, which would allow a local agency to set speed limits for bikes on sidewalks, class 4 bike lanes, and multi-use paths. 4A, if AB 2346 does not pass and there are no active efforts at the state or regional level, direct staff to evaluate and return to council with recommendations to establish local speed limits for e-bikes on multi-use paths informed by the Mineta Transportation Institute study and best practices from peer jurisdictions. And item 5, I just added this piece of it. I'll read the whole thing. Direct staff to continue coordination with state and regional partners to address other concerns and potential solutions related to speed and age limits for e-bikes.
Second.
So moved? So
Yes.
moved. Okay, and a second by Councilmember O'Hara. Madam Vice Mayor, you may open on your motion.
Thank you. Let me, before I make my comments, I do have a follow-up question based on the gentleman's comments around increasing those fees and fines. What does that look like? What does that entail? I'm looking to our city attorney.
Yes, there is a fee schedule that is updated from time to time. And so I would assume that those fines are on that court-approved fee schedule. So if that's something you'd like to increase, that is something that the city attorney's office could look at.
I wonder if, Ms. Gallagher, you have any comments about what you've seen in all of your, communications and studying this issue?
Generally disincentivized from encouraging or from increasing fees on lots of the behaviors that we're seeing from kids, and that an education first approach is the best practice.
Okay. I think I want to amend my motion to direct staff to explore increasing fees. I don't want to make that determination now, but to explore increasing fees and to come back to council at the appropriate time when you come back with other pieces of this.
Okay, let's let Ms. Bush get that up there, and now point to where you would like to make amendments.
It'll be, I guess, a new item 8.
Okay.
And do I need to adjust anything in my language, Ms. Bronson?
That sounds just fine, thank you.
Okay. Is that amenable to?
Yes.
A second? Okay.
Do you have language you want to?
For direct staff to explore increasing the fines, the fees. What are they? Fees? Fines. Increasing the fines for bikes on sidewalks throughout the city.
Throughout the city?
Yes.
Okay. Agreeable to the second?
Yes.
May I
Okay.
just make a note? Where limited by the municipal code, our municipal code is explicit to where bikes are and are not allowed on sidewalks.
Okay, what you just said, we're limited by municipal code. So add that at the very end? Okay.
Ms. Bush, we good on that?
Unlimited?
Yeah.
By the Muni code? Or by the state?
Muni code.
Perhaps consistent with the municipal code.
Consistent with the municipal code. Okay, perfect. Thank you for helping me with that piece.
Okay. You may now open on your motion.
Okay, great. I made most of my comments, but really I wanted to just provide a little bit more explicit language around the age limitation and the speed limit. There's already pilot programs happening in the state, so I want to be proactive about pursuing being part of those pilot programs. And to, again, just explicitly advocate for state laws around the speed limits and any other, actually. I mean, I think that's included in the motion, but specifically around AB 2346. And I know that enforcement may be a challenge, but establishing expectations and community norms, I think, is effective. We've seen that to be effective in other safety and public health issues, so I think it's important to head in that direction, even if the state is not. And I think this direction that's brought before us and hopefully the additions is really trying to strike a balance to protect youth mobility. I mean, it's so awesome that our young people are able to get around. I mean, I do miss driving my kids around to their sports games and hearing all the little chatter and the gossip. And I don't miss it all the time. So it's wonderful to have them have access to be able to get around. And there's real community concern. Again, as the gentleman spoke today and so many others have reached out, I think we have a lot of catching up to do. So hopefully this direction that you provided and the addition gets us there closer.
Thank you. Further debate or discussion, Councilmember O'Hara.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the Vice Mayor for her leadership on this, and to staff. Claire, you are truly a rock star as it relates to, it's really a complicated issue. And then when I brought this up in relation to the Bay Street traffic study improvements, it really was coming from a space of wanting to understand what our options were. What can we do locally? What must we depend on as it relates to state law, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we are trying to strike a balance here of pushing on in areas that we feel we can push that will be effective versus like ensuring that as the state grapples with this issue, that we're in lockstep and supporting those efforts. So I really appreciate that. One thing that I don't necessarily think we need to add to this motion, but I wanted to think this through. So I'm in the Poganip every day walking my dogs, and while they're not youth on e-bikes, there are grown men on mountain e-bikes that basically are barreling through our open spaces, tangling up with pedestrians and hikers. Some of them yield, most of them don't. I don't know if that's, I mean, obviously that's not at all what we contemplated here. I see your eyebrows raising. Between our Ardela open space and our Poganip open space, there are a number of trails where I feel like the number of e-mountain bike users is completely, out of scale to even a year ago. And the speeds that are on these single track, paths, it's pretty unbelievable. So question about how does that figure into how you're thinking about e-bike safety? And should we be directing you to come back with any insights on this?
Me is an operative word there. That's probably more of a Noah Downing direction there, because that's within our park system. There are places that have looked at regulations in parks and open spaces, national parks, state parks, and that's something I can go back and talk to Noah about and see what might be a good idea to bring back through the Parks Commission then to you.
That would be very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Brenner?
Thank you.
Sure.
I wanted to ask the Vice Mayor about item 3 on your motion, and just to provide a little context on how you came up with age 10.
You want me?
Yeah. There was a lot of back and forth with Claire on that one. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, great question. I think to start with, there's not going to be a right age that we're going to choose. And I actually pushed pretty hard for Councilmember Kalantari Johnson to set it at least 10. Something we have here is recognizing that as you're getting into middle school, there's more and more kids who are traveling independently, and this creates an opportunity for mobility. We're hearing from a lot of parents and families saying that having an e-bike makes it so that their kids and their family doesn't have to leave work early to get to soccer practice or something else, and having that access for kids. And recognizing that there probably is an age where you're too young. You don't have the decision-making skills. And so starting from 10 and being able to work with our school district partners, with our public health partners, with our regional partners to come up with what is that age. It likely won't be 10. Yeah.
That's helpful, and that makes sense, and kind of where I was thinking as well, just trying to also keep in mind what our neighboring cities might have in place. And as some kids cross jurisdictional lines, understanding that, just keeping in mind where there's differences and where we can align to make it as streamlined for the community. And I have one more thing that came up based on what one of the commenters said, and what I've experienced is on the sidewalks with youth, with kids riding. It's not just one e-bike. They're traveling in packs and groups. And to me, that's what makes it even more dangerous. So keeping that in mind with the education and learning rules of the road, how you bike in a group on a street, when there's vehicles and people, you fall into single file and you're not zipping through cars. So like that group education is so important, and especially on the sidewalks, because there's no accountability, and they laugh, they flip you off, they say the F word, they do it anyways, and it's really shocking at the behavior of these kids. So that group aspect, I think, is really key to point out. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Anyone else on this item? Councilmember Triguero.
Hi, thank you. Appreciate the discussion, and staff, thank you so much for your presentation. I'd like to make a friendly motion to remove the fees and fines that was added at point 8. I fully support.
Okay, we'll wait for that until we see if
Okay.
the friendly amendment is acceptable. Friendly amendment acceptable?
No.
Okay. So you can do a couple of things here. One thing you could do is make a motion to amend. If you can get a second for that, we'll vote on it. If it's successful, then it's amended into the motion. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so there's a motion, and state your motion to amend.
I motion to amend by removing point 8.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Is there further debate or discussion? The Vice Mayor is recognized.
I just want to address Councilmember Triguero. This isn't to increase the fees and fines, it's just to explore it. Just want to make sure that.
Thanks. Say again, I was distracted.
I was just clarifying that this point 8 is not to increase fines, it's to explore it.
Okay, all right. Is there further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Triguero.
Aye.
Brunner.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Golder. Aye. O'Hara.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Keeley.
Aye. Motion passes as ordered. Thank you, Ms. Kaluli. Thank you, all of you great Americans who have participated in this. All right, we are on item number 22. This is a review of California legislation impacting land use, housing, homelessness, economic development, and all matters affecting the Western Hemisphere. Mr. Van Waa, good afternoon, good evening. As long as your presentation gets us out of here before the State of the Union address, we'll be happy to hear what you have to say.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll be quick here. All right, so 2025, we had about 70 bills again related to land use, housing, homelessness response, and economic development. Of those bills, there were really 3 that got a lot of statewide attention and a lot of press. I'll highlight the first one here. SB 79 relates to higher density near transit. This one specifically doesn't apply to Santa Cruz, but I did want to note it just given its newsworthiness. This applies to housing development within a half mile of transit, and there's actually a tiered system, so projects within a quarter mile get even higher heights, et cetera. But essentially, it allows ministerial by right approval for heights up to 75 feet, with additional height bonus if it's within 200 feet of that transit stop. And that takes effect July 1st of this year. And this was really a new version of 2019's failed SB 50. If you all remember way back, all these housing bills really started ramping up in 2017, 2018. And this was one of the first big bills that got a lot of press from Senator Wiener, and it failed at that time. And as we can see, this passed really smoothly this past year and is really indicative of the state's direction and how it's changed even in those 6-7 years since that bill. The 2 others I'm going to talk about here that were in the news quite a bit was AB 130 and SB 131, also indicative of the state's direction. These were both bills that were in the normal legislative session. They had different legislative numbers. They were moving through at the typical pace, and very, very quickly, within days, these two bills were attached to the budget as trailer bills and approved effective immediately on July 1st, 2025. So that happened fast, and that process is certainly very unique, and I haven't seen it before in the past. So something to note there. AB 130 creates a statutory CEQA exemption for infill projects. And this exemption has fewer limitations and exceptions than the current infill exemption that we often use in land use. It also makes permanent portions of the Housing Accountability Act and the Housing Crisis Act of 2019. And another highlight is that it limits building code amendments through June 1st, 2031. There's been a lot of state bills that limit the number of, once a building is submitted, you can't have additional zoning code changes that go into effect. This is kind of getting to that a little bit. These building codes take a long time to plan for, and they change fairly often. So it's kind of freezing those until 2031. SB 131 was another CEQA reform bill, and this expands uses exempted under CEQA, so including daycare centers and advanced manufacturing. Another key thing here is that it exempts rezoning that implements housing element objectives. And finally, the one you may have heard, the biggest piece of this bill regarding CEQA reform is the near miss provision. And this is if a project meets all the other requirements and doesn't need any other analysis except for one potential impact. The rest of the document's considered complete, and the whole thing doesn't have to be submitted and reviewed again, which I think makes a lot of sense and is going to save some folks time. And a few other bills of note. These relate to the ADU laws that you just adopted today. Those are 3 bills going into effect as of January. And then we have the campus development zones bill. This doesn't actually apply to UCSC given its structure around distances to the campus, but it does signal the state's interest in providing more density around colleges. AB 1021 makes it easier for school districts to build housing on their land, actually. And then finally, SB 233 and AB 1275 are really the state's realizing that the housing element cycle is quite a strain on cities and city staff and services. Takes a lot of work, and there's not a lot of time to do it in. And so this actually is providing cities about 6 months additional time to complete those for the next cycle, the 7th cycle coming up here in several years. So with that, that completes my legislation update, and I'll just note there's many other bills highlighted in the staff report. Thank you.
Ms. Van Wall, thank you very much. Let me see if there are questions, comments by members. Councilmember Golder?
I'll keep it brief, but in terms of the same kind of question with going back to our lobbyists, if there's a way when we're going through this to advocate that we could somehow count our dorm space beds and maybe beds that are in permanent supportive housing but without kitchens as housing units, in our RENA numbers, if that makes sense, as we're developing those, they're a really important part of our housing stock, and it's unfortunate when we can't count them.
Mr. Butler.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, council members. Thanks for that question, Councilmember Golder. We actually had a objective in the housing element that spoke to that to explore that particular issue. And we did have conversations with our colleagues at HCD, who we've got a good working relationship with. And the Housing Community Development Department staff indicated that the RENA targets that we receive do not account for the student population growth. And therefore, if we wanted to if we wanted to advocate for starting to count those, then we would have a commensurate increase in our housing, in our RENA targets. So we dropped that issue.
I redact my question.
Oh, we respectfully are grateful to you for that. All right, let me see if there are other questions or comments. Mr. Van Wall, you would just very quickly put up the one that was on, I think it was AB 130. Oh, thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll make this fast. I think it's very illustrative of something that's going on in Sacramento right now. Apparently, it is not enough for the legislature and the governor to, pass however many hundreds of bills in regular session. I want to draw attention to this in just a moment. There we go. That's the one I'm interested in. So where it says included in the budget bill and effective immediately July 1st, 2025. What amuses me about this, and it's amusing so that I don't cry, is that until about 4 years ago with the Newsom administration, until then, the only trailer bills to the budget bill were those bills which were necessary in order to create a statutory permission to spend the money that's in the budget bill. So you would say, here's a budget bill, and in the budget bill, here's this 9-digit number from the Department of Finance for spending in the Department of Health Services on sub-object number whatever, and we don't have statutory authorization to spend that money. So we need a trailer bill to do that in the budget bill. Now they're putting policy bills in the budget as trailer bills that absolutely do not need to be there as a circumvention of the regular order and process of processing bills. Just so you know how wildly out of control it has gotten in Sacramento. Further questions or comments? Anybody wish to testify on this matter? Seeing and hearing no one. We do have someone? Happy day. We are more than happy to hear the person who is online who wishes to testify.
Okay, I'll take that at face value. How you doing, Fred? The CEQA thing's pretty as old as I am, frankly. It was signed by Ronald Reagan way back in 1970.
That's right.
And let's see. So California environmental quality. I mean, environmental quality is really what this entire meeting has been about. Almost every topic. But one thing I want to make note of that a lot of people are kind of ignorant of, honestly, just ignorant of, is that Santa Cruz County, the top 10 smallest counties in the state, the average land area of the 10 largest counties in the state are larger than all 10 of the 10 smallest counties. And we're the second smallest, just below San Mateo. And so the land use idea, the idea that we can just keep cookie cuttering in all these new buildings and not have parking for them and not have, really they just don't fit. They just don't continue to fit. They keep coming and they keep coming. But in some ways, you have to admit that there's something a little bit illogical about building more and more and yet more. Okay, that's all I have to say. And enjoy the State of the Union. I'm not going to watch. Bye.
Hey, thank you very much. Quick question to either Mr. Van Wall or Mr. Butler. During the interim break between sessions during the fall and early winter of 2025, there was an awful lot of talk going around about a $10 billion affordable housing bond. And at the time, it was somewhat ill-formed, but right, it was early on in the conversation about a housing bond. Didn't see that in here, and wondering if maybe they'll make it a budget trailer bill for all I know. But is there active conversation around a housing bond?
Yes, there is. The last I've heard, Mayor, there's actually two different bond measures active in the legislation right now that are moving forward. And the last I've heard is it's likely that one of those will eventually go forward, but not both.
Of course, not
I
both.
don't know where that's at this point, but
Okay.
yeah, those are still moving forward.
And are they, as those bills exist now, would these be GO bonds? General obligation bonds?
That I'm not sure of.
Because if they're GO bonds, they're going to have to put them on the ballot. And so they can either do June or November, but.
My understanding is that, or my recollection, I should say, is that they were looking at a November ballot.
November ballot.
That's my recollection. I haven't looked at those in a while, but that's my recollection.
I know you track all of this. I think that's I imagine a measure that as it takes form, we may want to participate in that. We have a legislative delegation that includes the chair of the Senate Budget Committee and the Speaker of the Assembly. So I think if we want to weigh in on that topic and make sure that it addresses the kinds of things that are important to us, I would appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that in a timely manner. Okay? Thank you very much.
We will continue to track that.
Thank you very much, sir. Further debate or discussion? We have a motion to accept this item. That is the motion. There's a motion. A second. We're all good to go. All right. Further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Clerk will call the roll on that item.
Councilmember Triguero.
Aye.
Bruner.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Golder. Aye. O'Hara.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor Keeley.
Aye. All right. Madam Clerk, further business come before the body. Madam City Attorney.
No.
All right. Anyone? Okay, Golder. This time, Councilmember Golder moves that we adjourn. And let me see. No one wants to second that, so we're going to stay here for a while. Councilmember O'Hara reluctantly seconds that we adjourn, non-debatable. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries in order.
Thank you for the pause there.
I'm gonna scrub my leftover house. Yeah, me too.